Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat. The show is about to begin.
Presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, a.k.a. Coop A. Fiasco. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. It is Monday after an exciting weekend of sports. We had Selection Sunday. We had some crazy trades in the NFL, and we're going to break down a bunch of that for you here today. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-hosts, John Luke Garofalo and Andrew Cooper. What's up, boys? You doing all right this Monday? Have a good weekend?
Yep. What up? Good morning.
Fantastic.
You know what I did this weekend that I hadn't done in, 10 years?
Ran around on moon shoes at the roller rink.
I was at the roller rink, but I was not wearing moon shoes.
Oh.
I was at the roller rink, and nothing's changed. If you haven't been in 10 years, if you've moved across the country, it's exactly the same as what you remember 10 years ago. The carpet is the same exact nasty black lit, like neon light, black carpet with the bright lights on it. The same people are there that you saw 10 years ago.
Same hair. Still,
yeah.
They all look at
Bowl cuts.
The most surprising cast of characters. There's like the mom who, like, in her day you knew was absolutely killing it out on the disco rink, and like she's out there with her kid, like holding the hand, but like the kid lets go for a second. All of a sudden, like, mom can't help it, starts like breaking it down on the roller rink. You got the kids with no regard for their life or anybody else there, right? You watch out for them. They're in the middle. You're going straight. They're cutting straight to the exit. Watch out.
They're making moves, dude. They're making moves.
Did you get wrecked by a little kid?
You know the whole day is about that mom, right? Like, that's her day, dude. That's why everyone's there. They don't really know that. They think they're there for like skee ball and whatnot, but no. It's about these moves, right?
It's about her. It's about her getting it. What about you guys? Anything exciting?
I also went to the roller rink.
Oh, did you? Wow.
Me too.
What a roller wink weekend.
Yeah.
Roller wink weekend.
Did you guys play laser tag while you were at your roller rink?
This one didn't have laser tag.
Ooh.
Yeah. You have to go to Shadowland for laser tag.
Whoa, Shadowland. What a dope laser tag, man.
You guys didn't have Shadowland growing up?
No.
Oh, man. That was the best birthday party if you were a little kid. Because you would go and they would have a room that you go in, like I guess most laser tag places, right? You go in, you put on the little gear.
Yeah, you're like the gear room, the get prep room. They give you the safety warnings. They put the gear on you.
Yeah, you look to see if all your lights light up, and then you go in there and you wreck some people. But then afterwards, you all go to the pizza party right after, in the room in the lobby. And they got like arcades and stuff. Hella fun.
My only problem with laser tag was always it wasn't enough when I got shot. I wish it would like knock me over or something. Know what I mean? Yeah, like it was just anti-cut, like, oh, I'm out. It would just go like, pew, pew, pew. And then I like at least like scream like, you're dead. You've been shot.
Scare me.
Like, exactly. Like I want it to feel like I'm out of the game, not just like I have to take myself out of the game.
So ours actually did have like headsets where it would tell you you're shot. It would be like, you're dead, kid.
Did it make you feel it though? Did it make you feel bad for losing? Because that's how I want my laser tag to treat me.
It didn't, but my dad would.
Okay, perfect. You know what? Sometimes you need someone to pick up the slack of tech, and
exactly.
Coop's not stepping in.
It would step in and so important part of childhood.
What are you doing?
Get your ass out there. You got to roll there. You got to roll.
You're embarrassing me in front of all my friends.
And then he turns to his buddy. He turns to his drinking buddy, and he's like, I swear it never happens like this. Like, he's usually like, pew, pew, pew.
The Cooper name is earned, not given, son.
That's right, dude.
I can take it away.
Still haven't earned it.
Well, guys, we're about to get into some of the news that went down this week. Before we do that, we got some people in the chat ready for today's show this morning. Tommy over here in the BSN chat with his morning poem for us, bright and early. Says, it is a manic, rainy Monday, and I feel a brief sadness, but the brackets are set, and March is going to be madness. And the free agent frenzy will be crazy this week. If it's a little bit more of NFL that you seek, all eyes on the Panthers as they trade for number 1 DJ Moore to the Bears. You son of a gun. We have baseball this week for the world to see as the nations collide in the WBC. No matter the day, no matter the moods, I'm always happy to hang with my dudes. And JL is so happy to hang with you too.
The happiest.
The happiest. Well, guys, it is time to get into some BYOB. I hope everybody watching brought something to eat, something to manger on, because we brought the news stories. We brought the topics. You just got to bring your own breakfast. I forgot what they had to bring for a second. I was like, oh, shoot.
Just said it.
They only had to bring one thing. What was it?
I can't remember. What was it?
I got
I
some
brought a
breakfast. Oh, what do you got? What do you got?
Peanut butter sandwich, plain.
Old breakfast, Sammy.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to dry your mouth right up as we're talking.
Oh, so dry.
You just go. You're not having like a glass of water or anything. You're just going after it.
We're gonna start hearing Jell's.
I was
You know the dry mouth noises where like your mouth starts sticking together a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Leanne and I, that's like Leanne's least favorite noise in the world. But we were watching like mattress review videos because we're shopping for a new mattress. We're in the market. And one of the videos we pulled up, like the person was very knowledgeable and great. We couldn't see them. And it was like made by the betting company. It was like the preview before we watched the other third-party reviews. But you could hear in between every word she said. And we turned it off 30 seconds in. We're like, yes, we're not getting that mattress.
Yeah, no, thank you. I have
synesthesia.
Misophonia is actually what it's called, but it's similar.
Misophonia.
It's just like grating, like sounds. My brain gets like stuck on sounds, and I'll just get like really stuck in a loop, and like I can't think of anything else. It's like nails on a chalkboard, like mouth sounds or gum sounds.
Yeah, there's certain sounds that like make my like hair stick up. Like it's usually like the chalk sounds do it. The chalkboard sounds like if you pull a drawer out, that's just like that'll do it. Also the sounds of like biting on a popsicle stick. Ugh. Ah.
I think Maria hates that too.
The thing I said is when you hear noises and see shapes, not at all related to what you were talking. Yeah. That is when you hear sounds and correlate it to a shape or a word. But that's okay.
You know who has that is Pharrell.
Pharrell
supposedly, and that's what makes him such a good musician. Part of it is that like when he hears stuff, he can like visualize it.
That Maggie Rogers video started circulating again this weekend. You guys have seen that one where he goes to the NYU student to like showcase and he sees hers and he's like, I got no notes. And someone underneath comments, it was my favorite thing because someone underneath commented like, oh, you consider Pharrell a master of composition? Maybe check your standards. And that person just got obliterated.
Oh my god!
Because they were like, "Are you unaware that Pharrell's one of the greatest composers of our day and age?" Like, like not just asking us. It's not an opinion. Look at the number of awards he's won. Like,
were they just going up based off of the song "Happy"?
Probably. I think people sometimes see
which
Pharrell and just
is fair. It's fair. Pharrell, you did that to yourself. All right, you got that money, but you know what you were doing.
No, it's done. You're
the
sold
song
out.
of the summer. You couldn't go anywhere without hearing that.
And now it's fallen like many songs of the summer. It's safely landed amongst the songs that get played at every wedding.
Oh my god! I was looking at wedding bands yesterday. I hate the song Uptown Funk. I'm sorry, it is a terrible song.
Amazing song,
and every freaking wedding band plays it. It's the worst.
It's an excellent song, and it has to be played.
Yeah,
I love Bruno Mars, but no, thank you.
I'm out on. Yeah. For breakfast for me, I have a banana and half a donut from Donna's Donuts in Tewksbury, Massachusetts.
Donna's, you go to Donna's right before the show?
I went this morning, bright and early, dude. Drove up to Tewksbury, which is an hour away, and an hour back. Wow. So it was pretty long morning. Yeah, dude. Donna's Donuts, they're famous for their cheeseburger donut. And they have this like deli. They have like a deli case there full of like crazy donuts. So they'll be like all their regular donuts. The deli case will have a cheeseburger donut that's made out of like 2 buns that are glazed donuts, and the middle is like a chocolate donut type thing. They'll do
It's too much donut.
they get that's not even close to too much compared to some of the other ones they have. They have, first of all, they'll just do donuts that are this big. But dude, they have one. When I was there, it was a meatball sub donut. So it was
that's terrible.
So it was a
Sounds
donut.
not good.
It was a donut sub made of donut, and then the meatballs were munchkins inside of the sub.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
of
That's
adorable.
much better. Yeah. I like that
Kind
idea
of
way
adorable.
more.
got Tim in here
Do you
saying
think it was just a meatball sub that was made with real
100%.
meatballs and donut? Oh, nice.
I mean,
that would actually be kind of
can,
dope.
can you blame us? You said a donut with meatballs inside.
That'd be kind of dope, though.
That
We
would
got
be sweet.
Tim in here saying, if you don't play Uptown Funk at your wedding, I'm not coming.
Storming out.
See you at the next one.
Yikes. JL, you would play Uptown Funk at your wedding to have Tim there if he was serious. Without a doubt, you would
Not
say,
if he's taking that approach.
I think you would. I think you'd let him be toxic if it meant he would be at your wedding. Well, guys, I think the piece of breakfast news that we got to kick off with today is the biggest piece of news that happened over the weekend. The Panthers traded up to the number 1 overall pick with the Chicago Bears, sending 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and DJ Moore. So they said this year's first round pick, number 9, next year's first round pick, and then 2025 and 2024 seconds as well, along with DJ Moore. From what it sounds like, the Bears GM wasn't budging on DJ Moore. He was the piece that got it done. The Panthers wanted to send another first, that 2025 first round pick. Poles said no. DJ Moore, it's not happening. And here we are. This is like a fantasy football trade. This is like some dynasty shit going on with this one.
We couldn't have done this in the morning when we were on the show on Friday.
I know, right? We have to wait 3 days to talk about it on here.
We got off the show, and then I think I sent a text to you guys like, is this legit? I was like, is this real? And then shortly after realized it was real.
Yeah, that
And
was
now I had to wait 3 days.
that was my exact response to that. I was like, this looks like something that Twitter cooked up, right? Yeah, Twitter's like that's exactly what we always say. We're like, all right, let's just take the best weapon from this team and move them to this quarterback, and then this team will get the first pick. And it never works like that, right? Like you never see like a prime wide receiver get moved for the first overall pick, but this time it did happen like that.
Can we agree the Bears overpaid? I'm sorry, the Panthers overpaid.
I was about to say, excuse me.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, other way.
Yeah, but again, it's all about the market. Like we've seen it before with like the Patriots trading a second for Mohamed Sanu. Like the other offers are real. You know what I mean? Unless they're bluffing and they're just going to be like, oh, just kidding. We are not doing that. This team has offers coming in from all across the league, right? And then you got to just keep one-upping him until you get your guy. Now, the thing is, if you look around the league, if the quarterback they take becomes Trevor Lawrence or Patrick Mahomes, it's not an overpay, right?
That's exactly what I was gonna
It's
say.
all about
Like,
the
right
result.
Right now, it feels like an overpay. But if this guy is Joe Burrow, if this guy is like Trevor Lawrence, like you said, then the Panthers don't care that they sent away DJ Moore.
It's just so it's like you're getting your guy, but you're setting him up for failure, right? You're setting him up for a
he's got
situation where he's
Laviska
under leveraged.
Terrace Marshall.
Yeah, maybe Curtis Samuel will come back. Who knows?
Yeah, but the thing is, it's so
That's what we're
simple.
counting as his weapons as former wide receivers of the Panthers that
That
left.
might think about coming back. I don't know.
The league is so cyclical that it resets. I mean, like with the quarterback, we're when you draft a guy, you're predicting him to play for 15 years. So like it's gonna like the whole thing resets within a couple of years. Like look at the Rams; they're already past the part of like now they're struggling now, but after this year, they'll be past the part where they don't have any picks.
The reality of the league now, though, is they move on from quarterbacks quickly. If you don't set them up and they don't perform within their first couple of seasons, they often do move on faster than they used to. So I get what you're saying. Now, that being said, how many times have we seen it now? The Bears are following suit, get a young quarterback, a big shiny new weapon in his second or third year, and say, okay, you've made a little bit of improvement. Let's see if you can make a big improvement this year. We got you your weapons. We invested in you. Let's make it happen. We saw Trevor Lawrence. They went out and got his weapon, right? Who else did they go out and get a weapon for?
I guess
Trevor Lawrence got
a good point.
3 weapons. They went out and they got Christian Kirk. They went out and got Evan Ingram and Zay Jones. So they loaded up for him.
It's a good point too. The strategy of get yourself a QB, be terrible the next year or two, get those draft picks that you can then sell for way more leverage to get all of that leverage back, which I think is a viable strategy. I personally, when looking at this strategy from the Panthers, I compare it to the strategy of the Jets in a rebuild. I would much rather go the Jets route in a rebuild and just build as much leverage around that quarterback and then figure out how to get that last piece in than the other way around.
That being
That
said,
piece in and build around it.
You can end up like the Commanders, where you have one of the best defenses in the NFL. They're shoring up that defensive line now, right? Their offense, they've got the weapons. They need to draft probably no lineman, but they've got a pretty good offense. They're never good enough to be in contention for one of those top quarterbacks, but the rest of their team keeps them in contention in the league. Now, the Commanders have a unique situation where they're never attracting a free agent quarterback under Dan Snyder. Like the Patrick Mahomes, the Aaron Rodgers, the Tom Brady's, if these big names come available, they're never going to go to Washington. So the Jets, the other teams in these situations have an additional out that the Dan Snyder-led Commanders currently don't. But it is something you can fall into, one of these like middle of the road teams that is never quite competing for these young quarterbacks, but never good enough to really compete for a title.
Just on a sidebar quick, I was thinking about that this weekend with the Jets, that people forget that Adam Gase, right before he got fired, for no reason at all, came out and he beat the Rams. And when he beat the Rams, they went from having the first pick overall to the second pick. So all they really had to do was lose that one game. And right now, it would be this pretty much the same Jets team we have, except they would have Trevor Lawrence instead of Zach Wilson. which would be,
well, maybe he wouldn't have been fired if or maybe things would have gone differently if they got Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, well, he was already fired.
Same Jets team now.
Might not be the same, exactly. There's a lot of butterfly effect to it with Urban Meyer. It would have been Urban Meyer with Zach Wilson.
But that's fun to think about.
Yeah.
Just a Trevor Lawrence mixed into that Robert Saleh offense.
Would have been perfect, dude. So yeah, that would have been.
Oh, Keith just like Keith's just sent into orbit.
He's crying. He's at home freaking crying. He just threw another dart at his Adam Gase poster on the wall,
right next to his Zach Wilson poster.
When you look at DJ Moore, like if you're the Bears and you're going to trade for a wide receiver, it doesn't get more perfect than going for this guy, because not only is he proven in this league multiple years, he had 3,000-yard seasons in a row, but he was such a young draft pick that he's still only 25, and the age apex for wide receivers is basically 26 through 29 years old. So they somehow managed to get a proven guy that's still hitting the age apex right now. Like that is exactly what you want for Justin Fields. Justin Fields is on the hot seat right now that he's got these weapons.
Or this is signaling they're going all in, right?
I mean,
I guess I don't think he's on the hot seat now. Know what I mean? He's on the hot seat in the sense that like he's
like
still
the clock is ticking.
He's still unproven in the league. He needs to prove it. But I don't think they're looking at it and going like, oh, this boy's on the hot seat. They're going, look at what he did last year. Let's get him some weapons and see what he can do this year.
Put it this way. They can't be dead last in passing yards again.
No. They need to change their offensive strategy a little bit, right? As well. Mm-hmm. That's not just the Justin Fields thing, but that's why they're getting these receivers. They got Moondog, they got Claypool, they got DJ Moore. I see Tommy down in the chat. Yeah, Moondog, DJ, Claypool, Fields, #1 fantasy pick.
Whoa, the disrespect to Velus Jones Jr.
Wow.
You know that DJ Moore is only 28 days older than Velus Jones Jr. That's how young
that poor guy.
That's how young DJ Moore was when he was drafted, and how kind of an older prospect Velus was.
Tommy said, Simon, you getting a Bears jersey now? I just might get a Bears DJ Moore jersey now. Maybe
Bears
I got
the new Eagles.
The Bears are the new Eagles?
Yeah, after that trade.
If you were going to get any Bears jersey, JL, what would you get?
If I was to get any Bears jersey, I'd get a Fields jersey.
I would get a Devin Hester jersey.
I have a
Tariq
William
Cohen.
Perry jersey.
Oh, you have Tariq Cohen?
No.
I have William Perry. That's the one I have.
Oh, nice, dude. Yeah, there's
the only Bears jersey.
Oh, Walter Payton, dude. Yeah, Tommy said sweetness in the chat. Walter Payton would be a good one, too.
I'd probably go Fields, but maybe DJ Moore. Or how about Moondog? Man, there's sure a lot of players on the Bears that I like.
Right, dude? Bears Jimmy Graham jersey.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Coop.
Just so many options.
Yes, a Bears Jimmy Graham jersey.
Usually I wait when I get jerseys. My advice to people looking to get their first jersey, I would go with a retired player, a respectable one, because that jersey can never like my first one was a Ben Coates one, like right before he retired. And now that jersey is locked in, you know. If you don't get somebody like David Montgomery is a free agent. Like he could not be on the Bears. So if you want to get an active player, wait till they sign their second contract. That's the perfect time. Guy comes in, proves he's good, signs a 4-year deal. You got 4 years to wear that jersey, or at least a couple.
Or buy whatever you want, wear it, and say, "Yeah, I'm poor. And I bought this before he was traded."
Exactly, dude.
Those lines work as well.
That works.
You know what? You guys can laugh all you want about an outdated jersey, but this is a piece of history now. When
Not
DJ
only-
Moore was on the Panthers and his number was different. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, so you guys can act all high and mighty. Tommy in the chat, like a DJ Moore Panthers jersey is lame.
That's a DJ Moore rookie jersey is what that is.
That's a DJ Moore rookie jersey.
That-
Boom.
Autographed
Let's go.
rookie
I just
jersey.
gave you this
Throwback.
straight up talking point. Anyone that ever calls you out on it again, boom, you got that.
Well,
Well,
If they
that-
call me out on it again, I've just it's a litmus test for friendship.
now that you've pointed that out, I think that the worst version would be the DJ Moore number 2 jersey then, right?
Yeah, definitely over 12 now.
God, there's
Now
so
because
many
that's
of
just
them.
like some in the middle jersey.
God, all the
Yeah.
all the DJ Moore collectors got in a little late, didn't they?
Mm,
Kind of
Yeah,
grabbing
not you.
nerds.
the lame ones. Not me. I've been in since the beginning.
Yeah,
Die
of
hard.
the NFL.
While we're talking about this, I saw a ridiculous. The first time I read it, I was like, "Oh, that's a cool stat." And then I read it again, and I was like, "That is absolutely absurd." What I'm reading right now, a DJ Moore statistic. Well, I guess this is a Bears statistic. DJ Moore's 364 receptions over the last 5 seasons would make him 3rd on the Bears' all-time receptions leaderboard, trailing only Walter Payton and Matt Forte. So he would be 3rd on the receptions list all time, and the only 2 players he's trailing are running backs. Walter Payton and Matt Forte are the only Bears players in history
Dude,
with
the
more
Bears do
receptions
not
than
pass
DJ
the
Moore
ball.
would have had.
Wild.
Chris
I'm
Emma tweeted this out. This was a tweet from Chris Emma on March 10th.
surprised
That's
that Brandon Marshall's not on that list.
He wasn't there long enough. I think
Yeah,
is
wasn't
what
there
it
long
was.
enough.
He wasn't there long enough. He was probably on track though.
I'm trying to think of other like good fantasy wide receivers that play for the Bears. Like Bernard Berrien was good for a little bit. Alshon Jeffrey,
Allen Robinson.
Willie
Now
Gault.
his yardage. Chris pointed out that his yardage, his 5,202 receiving yards, would be the most in franchise history. And again, only 25 yards as he's arriving there.
So good, dude.
Absurd. They're gonna have to make some changes. So like you're talking about, they can't be last in the league in passing yards with Fields this year. It looks like with these stats, maybe they've it's not just the Fields issue. They got to make some changes to how they run that offense.
For sure. Yeah, they got to chuck. It's and I mean, dude, awesome. And we haven't even talked about Cole Kmet. Like they have pretty much everything they need across the top. If they bring back David Montgomery, they're rock solid. So we'll see. Bears could be a lot of fun this year.
It could be. Just the absurdity of the second and third, or the first and second all-time reception leaders for the Bears being running backs is insane to me. Just insane.
Matt Forte in PPR was as solid as you could get. He even had a 100. He definitely had a 100 target season. He might have had a 100 catch season at one point. Matt Forte was awesome, and he also kind of looks like Common. Another fun fact with Matt Forte. Yeah, 100. He had a 100 reception season in 2014. That's a lot of passes.
Yeah, that's absurd.
There's another trade we saw this weekend. Not as big, not as much of a splash, but Schefter tweeted out, trade is now agreed to per sources. Dolphins getting Pro Bowl cornerback Jalen Ramsey. Rams get 2023 third round pick, number 77, and tight end Hunter Long.
Yeah,
How do you guys feel about that?
on a Coop trading with my sister's favorite team, the Dolphins. So that's a pretty Cooper to Cooper trade there.
Wow.
It's interesting because it doesn't free up a lot of cap space for the Rams this year, but next year it frees like 26 million. So they had to get under the cap. The Rams did. This was the last move that gets them just barely there. They also cut Bobby Wagner and they cut Leonard Floyd. So that's how they got into the cap. Had to be done. And Dolphins get their guy, and then the Dolphins immediately turned around and gave Ramsey a new contract with like $36 million guaranteed. So they got him locked in for the next 2 years.
Yeah. It seems like low compensation, but we've seen this before for big name players, right? Where they go for less whenever it has to do with the cap situation or it has to do with a contract situation. The Rams didn't want to give him a big new contract, so why not get something for him?
And the third isn't bad.
Yeah, it's just you see the name Jalen Ramsey and you see a third and you're like, that's not what was promised. That's not what they said they were looking for. But it makes sense. And maybe superstar Hunter Long is going to come out and show up for the Rams. Coop, what did I read that he has one career catch in 3 years?
Yes, he has one. And when the new regime came in, because I was like, I do all my tight end research this offseason for all these articles I'm doing. I just finished article number 32, the Cardinals. That's going up today. Legal tampering period opens at 11. We're done. All 32 teams. But I actually found a quote from the tight end coach that came in with Mike McDaniel, and he said, I don't want to put any words in his mouth. So let me pull up exactly what he said. The tight end coach wondered if football was important to Hunter Long. Is that something you want to hear from the tight end coach when you have a player like this?
Ringing endorsement.
Wondered.
Yeah. I think what this does set up for is that so Bryson Hopkins and Tyler Higbee are both free agents next year. Higbee's already 30. Hunter Long can be a solid blocking tight end, in my opinion. So this might open the door for them to go out and draft a tight end this year that skews more towards the slot, more towards pass catching. There are certain guys, like there's Michael Mayer is like an all-around guy. He can do it all. But there's certain guys in this draft that are more like Evan Engram style or Mike Gesicki style, where they're, like 240 instead of being like 260 or 270 pounds. They run like 4.5 40s. Guys like Dalton Kincaid or Sam Laporta. If you were to pair Sam Laporta with Hunter Long, now you have one guy that can play the slot and run routes and be kind of your move tight end, one guy that can play inline tight end. So I don't think it's that crazy. It's just like the fact that people are looking at it and saying, we traded Jalen Ramsey for Hunter Long. I think that's what is catching people off guard, right?
I Googled Hunter Long. I wanted to have an idea of who we were talking about. Dude looks like Buzz McAllister from Home Alone. Like he's just got that snooty Buzz McAllister type face, doesn't
it? Really does.
Dude, that's so funny. It's the upturned nose.
It's the upturn. He looks just like him though.
Boston
That's
College
hilarious
too. 100%. He's got
what's his name from home?
Buzz McAllister.
He's the one with the tarantula.
He's the one with the tarantula.
Classic.
Buzz's girlfriend. Woof. That one.
Man, that tarantula scared the hell out of me as a kid.
Tarantulas don't scare me because I feel like I can see what they're up to. They're big enough that I can see all their legs.
They can see what you're up to too.
Cool. So can the little ones, and I got no idea what they're doing. Know what I mean? Like I'm way more scared of there's probably not a tarantula in my shoe, but there may be a black widow.
Yeah, well, black widows are terrifying. That's fair. That one's fair, totally.
Yeah,
like daddy long leg or tarantula. Give me the daddy long leg.
Oh, 100%. Without a doubt.
Daddy long legs are the joke of the bug world.
They really are, dude. That you're not even worried about them at all. They're just like
they're just goofy, just all legs.
They might as well be dust. You know what I mean? Like I treat daddy long legs the same way I treat dust. Like let me brush that up.
Think of it. We call them daddy long leg. Come on, they are the bug world.
But I mean, they are
daddy long.
They do have poison to kill bugs with, just not us, right?
I think.
Thank God. Can you imagine?
Rumor, I don't know if this was just a wives' tale.
I know what you're talking about.
Their mouths aren't big enough to bite
Yeah.
you, but they're the most venomous. I know they're not the most venomous spider in the world. I know that part's a wives' tale, but that was the story when you were in elementary school.
That was
actually, they're the most venomous spider in the world, but their mouths aren't big enough to bite you.
I don't like the vacant expression you have when you do that voice.
It is perfect. But
that's the expression that kid always has when he's telling you this little fact.
I'd say,
how does that spread?
Probably not a joke. Probably not a joke amongst bugs.
Probably not.
Yeah. Now I look at this trade and people immediately were like, oh, Jalen Ramsey for a third. That means DeAndre Hopkins should be traded for a third. And it's not that simple. The thing with DeAndre Hopkins is that his contract, if they trade him, the Cardinals have to eat like $20 million. And whatever team gets DeAndre Hopkins gets him for really cheap. That's why the price on DeAndre Hopkins is so much higher. And that's also why when you look at the Vegas odds, the odds for the Cardinals, they're like the third worst Super Bowl odds of any team. They're going to start the season without their quarterback who had surgery. They're going to start the season without Zach Ertz. They have a brand new GM, a brand new coach, and now they're trying to trade their best offensive weapon. So the Cardinals are, in my opinion, very clearly going for a bridge year here. Does it not look like they're taking a little year off, a little leap year? What was it called when you take a year before you go to
gap year?
Yeah, I think we got a little John Gannon gap year coming up here, folks.
Well, what a fall from grace. I feel like just like last season or 2 seasons ago, they were like a dark horse Super Bowl contender team. Like people were talking about this team as, we're talking about these, but the Cardinals can make a run. Wah, wah.
And yeah, instead they're going to
That's why I think it's a bit of they moved off Cliff Kingsbury too quickly. And that's where I feel like I felt that in the moment, and I still feel like that now. It's like, all right, you essentially, it's like solidified your losses here because you could have had an upswing in the next few years if you gave him some time to work.
Yeah, but that's true. But at the same time, if you're going to make the switch, why not making it in a year like this year where they know they're in big trouble, right? Like, so they're not going to have their quarterback for we don't know how long, but we know he's going to miss at least the start of the season. So it's kind of like, well, we're kind of smoked for this year anyway, so we might as well make that swap. I don't know.
But what Simon said about like just recently they were considered a top NFL team. That's not something like that. He's not the only one that feels that. We all know in the back of our head that was the case. That was the consensus case. And like, this past season was terrible. And I think that's clouded a lot of people's views of like, oh, wow. Because it felt like all of a sudden Cliff Kingsbury was out. Everybody was like, okay, he's on the hot seat now. Whereas before that, it was like, he's fine.
Yeah. So like if you think about it, they went 5. So here are the records under Cliff Kingsbury. They go 3-13 the year before he comes in. First year, 5-10-1, which first year coach, right? They did better than the year before. Next year, up to 8-8. He got him up to 500. 2021, 11-6. That's a pretty good season, man. Make the playoffs with that season. And then last year, of course, was the nightmare year where they go 4-13. But I mean, they progressed. Injury.
Like they dealt with injury. They didn't have DeAndre Hopkins half the season. They didn't have Marquise Brown half the season.
JJ Watt retired.
One bad season.
Yeah. Like he ramped it right up too. 5-10, 8-8, 11-6. One bad season.
No room for error.
So, yeah, that's tough, man. So, it is ruthless. When we did that, when we did the show with Vinny Iyer, where we went through and we're talking about the longest coaches that have been in the league, the guy that was like 6th or 7th on the list had only been on his team for like 6 years, right? Like,
and I think the Cardinals were even worse than that. They were like, they haven't had a coach that's lasted longer than 6 years.
Nope.
Something like that.
I get the whole list in front of me now, and I don't think they ever have based on this list.
Well, it's like the Jaguars. Urban Meyer was like 3rd on the all-time list or something ridiculous like that. There was some stupid stat that like the coach this year, after making it through like 7 games, was like the 3rd longest tenured head coach of all time. Like, congratulations, Doug Peterson.
Is this just like a thing? DJ Moore third on all time for receptions in the Bears.
And people don't realize that, like, they forget that the Cardinals have been around for forever. They were like one of the original teams.
That's way more.
They were around in 1920. Look, some of these let's pick our favorite old timey coach name. They had Patty Driscoll, and
pretty good.
After Patty, they had Arnie Horween.
Arnie.
I go by Horween, actually.
After Arnie was done, the team was taken over by Norm Barry.
You see, I was named after my great-great-grandfather. As a profession, well, never mind.
There is a very famous leather factory in Chicago called Horween. I wonder if they're related. Can't
imagine there's many of them.
After Noah Barry, we saw a stint with Guy Chamberlain. I mean, it goes on and on.
After Arnie Horween, Guy Chamberlain was just a little underwhelming.
Yeah, it was.
I think Arnie Horween is a clear winner here.
Yeah. My point being that I think that people, I think this is going to have an effect, right? You're shuttering a bunch of momentum, and I think that's going to have a big effect on this Cardinals franchise going forward.
They had a coach at one point named Charlie Winter. How does that guy not take it down, dude?
He should still be the coach.
Right? Only get 6 years. Only
Yeah.
get 6 years. I saw Tommy mention it in the chat, but this came out from Rappaport this weekend that when free agency begins, the Bucs are expected to target ex-Rams quarterback Baker Mayfield as a potential starting QB option, bring him in to compete with Kyle Trask, or just hand him the starting job. I'm not sure I buy the Kyle Trask competitiveness aspect. What do you guys think about this? Could Baker find success down there in Tampa?
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I don't hate the fit at all. I think he could be a solid fit for this team, this offense. I wonder if he's a little too conservative, given the coaching staff there. I think that's my biggest concern right now is just how aggressive are they going to be as a team, especially without Tom Brady pushing that offense. Are we going to go back to like a previous Todd Bowles offense?
I think this offense it was a problem switching from Bruce Arians to Todd Bowles last year for this Buccaneers offense.
I think so too.
And they had Tom Brady to cover up a lot of that. I think that's what you're getting at, JL. So sorry if I'm just repeating, but
that's okay.
Plugging Baker Mayfield in there instead of Tom Brady will just highlight, I think, the inefficiencies of a Todd Bowles-led offense compared to a Bruce Arians offense. We're going to start seeing they were trying to just keep it going the same. Know what I mean? Like Bruce Arians is gone, but maybe
you can feel it. They're like,
and then this year, like they're like, okay, Tom Brady's going. Let's just plug in a Baker Mayfield. Know what I mean? Like quick, grab him, plug him in. And
this might be devastating for Baker Mayfield.
Do you think
I'm worried it's going to be bad for him because I think he needs a good environment. Yeah, he's got the weapons. But that O-line's not great, and I have zero trust in the offensive coaching staff based on what we saw last year.
With the way Todd Bowles stepped aside to like let his guys take over the team, or Bruce Arians step aside, like I picture it being a lot of like when you're like house sitting for somebody, but you keep having to call them to be like, what would you, Bruce? What would you do? Like, where do you keep
hypothetically?
Let's say hypothetically, you dropped an entire jar of mayonnaise on the ground. Where would you keep the broom?
So
where would you keep the
let's say we needed a new
where's the mayonnaise broom,
and the only one I can find is Kyle Trask. Where would you keep your other quarterbacks?
Where are you hiding them?
Yeah,
where are you hiding the secret quarterbacks?
And Bruce Arians has to get off his bar stool with his old timey cap
his
on.
1920s stickball kid hat.
He's wearing Arnie
Norms.
Arnie Horween's hat.
Norm's hat.
That he found it. He found it when he was coaching the Cardinals. The old
dusted it off. It's like, huh.
Yeah. But I will say this for Baker Mayfield in this situation is that he's coming in and he's getting two weapons: Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. I mean, Kate Otton's pretty good too. So as far as the Baker Mayfield story goes, this is probably his last real opportunity to prove that he's a starting quarterback, right? Like if you can't get it done with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, it's going to be a tough sell to other teams.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he has showed multiple seasons of looking all right. So I think he's a guy that would continue to bounce around as maybe a backup, a fill-in kind of guy, a Tyrod Taylor type of player who gets starting jobs from time to time. But hopefully this works out. We've seen flashes from him of being like a not just good, but great quarterback. It'd be fun to see it work.
Yeah.
I want him to stay with the Rams, but we'll see if it can happen there in Tampa Bay.
Yeah. To JL's point, probably a better fit for Chris Godwin than Mike Evans, we think. In terms of what he does.
Mayfield?
Baker, yeah. Like, because with Evans, I don't know how – we'll see if he maybe changes how aggressive he is. But with Evans, he's kind of a huck it, chuck it, get it downfield type guy, right? Versus Godwin, who –
How much is Baker hucking and chucking?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's
not
what I'm
that
saying.
much.
I don't remember.
I
feel like in my head he could have totally been doing that, but I don't.
When he goes into hero ball mode, he tries to huck it, chuck it, but he still doesn't do it very much because it usually ends up in the other team's hands when that's the case. Baker Mayfield's at his best when he's not hucking and chucking.
He's more of a dink and dunk than a huck and chuck.
That makes sense.
Dustin said, "Who's a better fit when Trask beats out Baker for the starting job?" Ouch.
Nobody.
Man, I didn't know Dustin was a Kyle Trask truther over there. Everyone,
Trash truther.
Trash truther.
Might be more of a Baker hater.
Trash force.
I know our fantasy alarm, John Impemba, has been a Baker detractor for many years now. And so far, he hasn't really been wrong. The thing with Baker is that he just seems like such a fun guy, like a good, you know what I mean? He seems like he has good intentions. So I root for him.
I don't know if good intentions is the word I would use. I was with you with fun guy and good intentions
he used to be fun.
I think he has great football intentions. I don't know enough about him as a human. Like, I think that may not be anybody in the league that wants to win more than Baker Mayfield, which I think drives his angry look on his face when he's on the sideline. But
Tom Brady really likes winning.
Tom Brady does really like winning, but he's a little bit poutier about it, I feel like.
I've never seen someone who quite literally has it all still have just a absolute need to win.
Just a chip on his shoulder.
Just absurd. Yeah. Another interesting piece that came out this weekend, a rumor that came out of this weekend, free agency nugget to pass along. This one comes from Ty Dunn on Twitter, by the way. It says there's mutual interest in Jamal Williams returning to Detroit, but a source told me that today that Buffalo, Cincinnati, and New York Jets are all very interested in running back, or in the running back, not in running back. Williams led the NFL with 17 rushing touchdowns last year. Jamal Williams, it feels like he belongs in Detroit. It feels like he's just captured the hearts and minds of Dan Campbell and that coaching staff. But I don't know. It's a lot of touchdowns. Maybe a team throws in the bag. You guys think?
Did you see him pairing with Devin Singletary out the door, pair Jamal Williams with James Cook, have him be the 1-2, James Cook be the 3.
That would work all right. Ruin.
That would work
Buffalo
all right.
Running back value for fantasy.
I went back and looked at it yesterday, and DeAndre Swift and Amon-Ra St. Brown, the two of them, got tackled at the 1 yard line a combined 6 times last year. And Jamal Williams scored every one of those touchdowns except one. And that's the 1 yard line. Like, there were other ones where they got tackled at the 2 or the 3, and Jamal Williams scored those 2. But 6 times those dudes got, and one of them was a play at the 26-yard line where DeAndre Swift gains 25 yards and got tackled at the 1, and then Jamal Williams went down and scored the touchdown. It's like unbelievable. They just out there. It was like Shaq and Kobe just throwing alley-oops, except there's 2 Kobes and 1 Jamal Williams Shaq just dunking everything.
They just that comparison got weaker and weaker the further. It's like Shaq and Kobe, but there's 2 Kobes, 1 Shaq. They're in Lithuania. It's Wednesday, and there's no Kobes now and no Shaqs, and just me. Williams, just Lithuania. No one's playing basketball. Boom. Just like that.
Just you can picture it. You can picture it in your head. And Lithuania is wearing the jerseys. They're Olympic jerseys that were purchased for them by the Grateful Dead. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah,
I do remember that story.
Now you picture exactly how it went down.
My mom texted me 2 minutes ago. Chug.
That
water, dude.
Chug. This weekend, I realized, I don't know what, I think an article about Fish came up, and I was like, I've never really listened to Fish. And so I went to listen to the band, and then I was like, not for me, but I'm going to trust people that it's like, you got to see it live. It's one of those bands, like every article I read, truly they are a live music band. The studio albums are props to for their fans. And then I was like, I've never listened to Grateful Dead either. And all the articles I was reading, it came up with both. And so I went and listened to a couple songs, and not a huge fan, but a little bit more my speed, a little bit more my style, I think. But you know what? I respect it. I wanted to get it into my musical catalog of when people say the name of the band, I have an idea of what it sounds like. And I literally had never done that.
Have you guys ever watched a Grateful Dead cover band?
No, I've not. How's that go?
It's weird. It's just weird. Weird's not bad. I like weird most of the time. Yeah, but the one time I did, I was at a restaurant with my dad. We were just sitting there eating. Slowly, people started to coming in, and they all knew each other. Sitting there eating, kind of just looking around. Then all of a sudden, the band starts playing, and everybody gets up, and all the deadheads start dancing. I was like, oh, my dad had to teach me.
Yeah, you got to get in, man. I mean, the thing is it is the experience. And Howard Bender from Fantasy Alarm has been to over 200 Fish concerts. So,
look at Simon's frozen cheese face right now.
He's cheesed up, dude.
Oh my God, he's so happy right now. Look at that smile.
He looks like a deadhead at a Grateful Dead cover band concert.
I just screenshot that. That's gonna now be my cover or my contact photo for him.
That's a beaut. Yeah.
I think the current one is him in an elf onesie,
Buddy the Elf.
Gonna be tough to swap those out. Gonna be
Yeah.
tough. We might have to do a Simon picture bracket one of these days.
Oh, that's a good idea. You would hate that.
But
You would absolutely hate that.
Yeah. Anyway, so Ian Hartitz, he actually yesterday posted all the touchdown run lengths for Jamal Williams. Here were the touchdowns. His 17 touchdowns. 51 yards was the longest. 13, 7. So those were the 3 longest. 51 yards, 13, 7. Every other one was under 5 yards. It was 4, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1,
2,
1,
1,
1,
2,
1,
1, 0, 2, 3.
So he had 10 touchdowns that were 1 yard.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know if that's easy. I don't know if that's necessarily easy to repeat, right?
No, but I don't think I think there's a reason all these teams are interested in him, right? He's not just a gimmick touchdown guy. Surely 17 touchdowns. You don't expect Jamal Williams, the second string running back on the Lions, to be the touchdown leader in a normal season. I doubt we see that again next year, but I understand the interest from these teams. You still have to be the dude to run it inconsistently from the 1 yard line like that,
Sure.
right? There's a reason when DeAndre Swift would get down to the 1, instead of giving the ball back to DeAndre Swift, those 6 times they were on the 1 yard line, they gave the ball to Jamal Williams over and over and over and over and over again, right? Like that says something about what the coaching staff thinks about him compared to the other options on the team when they get down in that position.
It's the same reason that the Cowboys always give it to Zeke. There's something to be said about getting that 1 yard when everyone knows you need it.
Yeah, and everybody knows you're about to run it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jamal Williams. How do you guys feel about Jamal Williams if he goes back to the Lions offense? Where are you drafting him?
Not.
Yeah, I probably won't be drafting much of him. He's probably going to go much higher. He's one of those players.
Where are you comfortable drafting him?
Where would I be comfortable drafting him? I think that so the way I separate it up these days is that you have the every down backs, which there are fewer and fewer. And then most of my leagues are full of half PPR. So I'm taking the guys that skew pass catching first. And then I come around to the guys that are just goal line backs, you know? So he would be in that range. I mean, the thing is, how can you take these days Zeke that much higher than Jamal Williams, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're probably similar players. It probably comes down to which offense do you like better? Who's going to score more touchdowns? Which team is going to put them in that position to get the ball on the 1 yard line, 2 yard line more often? And I don't know if it's the Lions or the Cowboys if he does go back to the Lions.
That's the thing with Zeke last year is he did score 10 touchdowns, was it? Or 11? He actually scored 12 touchdowns, but the Cowboys were third in touchdowns in the entire league. So you kind of need that. If the Cowboys aren't going to be as good, ipso facto, Zeke not as good.
Yeehaw.
Made some trade offers for trading away Zeke and Pollard this weekend. Dynasty.
Probably smart, dude. Because I think at the end of the day, Zeke is going to work out a deal to stay with the Cowboys, just like restructured contract. And honestly, it's best for both their careers to just stay and split the work and play as long as they can, I feel, right?
Yeah.
Sucks for fantasy football.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
go ahead.
I was just going to throw a couple names out there versus Jamal Williams. Like, who would you take? Like, would you take? So Jamal Williams or Zeke? Who would you take out of those two guys?
Zeke.
I think I'd take Zeke.
If he's on the Lions. Is that like the assumption?
Yeah. So the assumption is Jamal Williams back to the Lions.
Give me Zeke still. Give me Zeke.
Yeah,
but it's close. They're very close.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with Simon.
What about like Tyler Algier?
Give me Jamal Williams.
What do you think, Simon?
I think that's closer. I think every time I go back and look at Tyler Algier's season, I am surprised by it. That being said, I think he's got some of the least security of any starting running back with that volume in the league. They could add anybody. I don't think they're ready to hand the reins 3-down roll to Tyler Algier.
Okay. Now, sorry.
I think I'll go Williams, but it's close. Algier, I could totally see him just coming out and being a top 12 back next year. The surprise guy that does it.
Now, would you take some of these pass catching backs? Like, let's say hypothetically, let's put Damian Harris as a early down back on the Bills or the Eagles. Would you go for like a James Cook or Kenneth Gainwell over Jamal Williams, or would you rather have the the Jamal Williams.
Give me Jamal Williams.
You get a little bit more. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
That coaching staff trusts him. They trust him enough to use him when they don't have the trust in DeAndre Swift. If DeAndre Swift is not healthy enough, that type of trust for me is a easy tiebreaker. I do not see that in either of those other two players.
Yeah, and the other part of it is that if they're going to pay Jamal Williams to come back, then you got to believe that they're going to use him and probably use him in a similar fashion, right? If they weren't going to use him that way, why are they paying him? Because they have to pay him right now. He's an unrestricted free agent.
What is it legal to structure a contract per touchdown?
You can do incentives. It would be cool if it was just per touchdown, but you can do incentives where it's like if you get double-digit touchdowns, now you get an extra $250,000. So they could.
So in theory, could they incentivize? Could they just set up a pay scale of like 1 to 100 touchdowns, and like incentivize each one by upping the pay?
Yeah, it would be so. That would be so tricky because who controls touchdown opportunities?
It would have to be on like
DeAndre Swift and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
It would have to be on like a Super Bowl contending team, right? It would have to be a team where like, yeah, it couldn't be on a bad team because they would just bench your ass. They would just put you on the bench.
That's what I'm saying. Save money, just bench somebody.
Yeah.
Not that the coaches really care about the money part. That's usually the owners, but
you could try and set up a contract like that if you want to have a big argument with the NFLPA. I think those are the guys that would have the problem with that. They'd be like, hold up, dude. Yeah. The guys
fully guaranteed. Okay.
I can see it now that they would, the moment they get to the 1 yard line and anyone else scores the touchdown, then FLP be like, this is contract suppression.
I take it back immediately. That's a bad idea, but what a fun idea.
That's a fun idea for sure.
Hey,
do that with like the bonuses,
You could do like a bonus. Speaking of fun ideas, did you guys see the quote from Josh Allen talking about Aaron Rodgers this weekend?
No.
Optimistic Jets interviewed him. He's on video saying it. They asked him about Aaron Rodgers, and he said, I think he's too competitive to not do anything. I just got to keep some ayahuasca on hand. And this is whenever he's asked about Aaron Rodgers being in the same division. So Josh Allen coming out throwing little shots at him.
I love that, dude. I love that.
You guys think Stephon Diggs is still mad at him?
At Josh Allen?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, you're the one that you know Diggs best. Do you think he would hold that kind of grudge?
This is my chance to slip into that best friend role.
It's time. Go for it.
What's your move? What's the move, Jail? What's move number one?
Hey, you fall from heaven? Because you're on the way down.
You fall from heaven? Because your face sure looks messed up.
Check his tag on his shirt. Just what I thought. 100% angel.
Is it a little kiss on the cheek? Stop.
Oh God.
Then you let
tag
him
one, Coop.
you
you just like flooded my brain with like traumatic, embarrassing memories from college. Walking up to people and being like, "You see this tag? I think it's terrible. This is boyfriend material."
You pick up the stud finder thing and you're like beep 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 beep.
Oh, that's the dad move. If you're doing that at a college bar, you're too old to be at a college bar.
Well, what's the stud finder? You have it in your pocket.
It starts working. You start all of a sudden starts beep 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 beep. Starts dragging you around the bar, going up to random guys. Beep beep. No.
No.
It's the Geiger counter themed pickup lines that really get the job done. You gotta start just carrying them around and measuring radiation.
Damn, girl, you clicking?
Because you have radio activated my love.
Oh.
On that note, you guys ready to get into some Weddle?
Yeah.
Before we do, Jeff had a question for us. Do you think DJ Moore is a true wide receiver one?
Absolutely. I think DJ Moore has been a wide receiver one with about as bad quarterback play as you can have your first couple years in the league. 3,000-yard seasons, like Coop said earlier. He's 25 years old, a true one wide receiver.
I don't think he's a wide receiver one right off the bat in Chicago, and it's not his fault. But it has nothing to do with his talent. He's talented enough to be a wide receiver one. I don't think his situation is going to be good enough.
Are you talking wide receiver one for fantasy or for like? Are you talking top 12?
Just in general, receiver? Like a top 12, wide receiver.
There's a few of these that annoy the hell out of me where it's the same word but two different meanings. So there's the wide receiver 1 in real life in the NFL that, like, if you're on ESPN and you're not talking about fantasy football, then you say wide receiver 1, which means there's 32 teams, there's 32 wide receiver 1s. And then there's the fantasy football context of wide receiver 1, in which case there's only 12. So for NFL standpoint, I think he's wide receiver 1. For fantasy football, I agree with JL that I don't know if he is as of this moment with Justin Fields.
And I was talking from the NFL perspective.
From the NFL. I could pick up. I was picking that
wide
up.
receiver 1 in the NFL. He is a quarterback's best friend to bring him in here. Like, if you want to get your quarterback a true wide receiver 1, DJ Moore's the perfect guy. I agree with you guys. I'm not going to project him top 12 for fantasy from a team that ran the ball 4 times or that passed the ball 4 times that season.
Ran the ball 4 times.
Yeah, and Jeff in the chat saying he's asking from a real life perspective, in which case I do. He's got prototypical, he's not a 6'4" split end, but he's 6 foot, over 200 pounds, prototypical size. And for the last 5 years, he's been going up against the top corner every game. Like, the people he's been playing with are Terrace Marshall, Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuel. The other team, when it's the Saints and Marshawn Lattimore is covering DJ Moore. That's a big part of this, is that he's not playing second fiddle like Calvin Ridley was next to Julio Jones. Like, he does have to face
behind Antonio Brown.
Exactly. He has faced the top corner every time, which to me, there's a lot to be said for that, because now you have nothing to fear with him going into a new role on a new team, because it's really the same role he's played before.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, let's get into our Weddle game today. For those of you who have never played this with us, I have the hiccups, and we're going to play Weddle. This is a game that's a lot like Wordle or Quordle, the popular word games on the internet, but instead of guessing 5-letter words, we're going to be guessing NFL players and then having some information revealed to us about said players, trying to figure out who it is. I think we should start with DJ Moore.
I was going to say,
this talk we've done about him, and let's see how quickly they update their systems. You got 3 days, Weddle game. I bet it's automatic, and they just feed it in from a separate data source. And if that data source updated, then this is updated.
I don't know.
I hope so.
It's one guy who just sits at home and obsessively. Did DJ Moore grow today? He just starts knocking on people's doors like, "Can I measure you?"
If they just link it up to Wikipedia, that'll be the easiest, because people race to be first to update Wikipedia for some reason.
He tries to trick people to step out of their front door onto the bathroom scale that he set up right in front. Like he stands pretty far back with a clipboard, like, "Oh, could you sign this petition?" And they look down and there's just like a glass bathroom scale on the ground.
Can you please step outside to sign this petition?
This position?
This would be a great content. We just try and get NFL players to step out onto their porch.
Yeah, that sounds like a great way to get restraining orders from NFL players. Well, I put DJ Moore in there, and we got some information. They're not in the NFC, so we know they are in the AFC. They're not a wide receiver. They're shorter than 6 foot, but close. So 5'10", 5'11", and younger than 25, but close. So 24, 23. And unfortunately, because DJ Moore is freshly on the Bears, he doesn't have a number yet. DJ Moore has no number. So we know that this player has a number.
And we know not to pick guys who've been recently traded moving forward.
And now we've learned you get less information if you pick a guy that hasn't picked the jersey number yet. So I'm thinking this is a running back. It's definitely not a tight end. It's probably not a quarterback, though it could be one of the shorter quarterbacks. It's most likely a running back.
Is Josh Jacobs 24 or 25? He's 23.
Josh Jacobs.
He's older than 23. He's been in the league for a few years. He's probably 26,
he was semi-young,
27.
No, he's still pretty young.
No, he was young.
He's still I think he's 24, dude.
He's 25. He's 25. Born February 11th, 1998. Josh Jacobs, 25.
He just turned 25 last month.
Are we allowed to?
Oh, wait, I looked that up, and this.
Yeah, what the heck?
I'm backing
Whoa.
up. I have never once done that before live on here, and I just typed in his age like we were talking about the player outside of it. Get your head in the game, Simon. Get your head in the freaking game.
I've definitely done that. I've in your defense, I've done that too without thinking, where we just have this argument and I'm like, I'm looking it up and I look at the jersey number.
It's because we disagreed. It's because I thought he was older. I was like, I'm going to prove them wrong.
Yeah, no, I've done that for sure. Okay.
All right, so it's not Josh Jacobs because I guess we know he's 25 now, so definitely not him. Who would be similar? Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
He's young. He's shorter than 6 foot.
AFC, shorter.
Yeah, get him in there. Back, right?
Yeah, let's
Get him
put
in there.
Clyde in there.
That'll give us some info.
Okay, running back is correct. AFC is correct, but not the West. He's too short.
Uh-oh.
He is 5'7".
Too short.
And we know the player's 24 now. So we're looking for a 24-year-old running back whose number is higher than 28 or 28 or higher.
Okay.
They are 5'11 or 5'10, and they are in the AFC, not West.
AFC, not West.
So that's pretty much everybody.
Browns.
The Brown. No Brown.
No, too old.
This is
Najee.
Dernis
Too
Johnson.
old. Najee's
ETN?
too old.
Wrong.
ETN's
division.
number 1.
He's number 1.
And NF. No, he's AFC.
He's AFC. Who's on the Bengals? They have old running
What
backs.
about Michael Carter?
Michael Carter.
How old's Michael Carter?
Young.
Yeah, that could work. And I think
pretty
he's number
young.
32, if I'm not mistaken.
You guys want to get it in there?
Yeah, let's go Michael Carter.
Okay. He's 5'8",
Oh, he's young.
23. His number is 32, so we know the numbers between 25 and 32. Nice pull on that, JL. AFC East is incorrect, and the running back is correct still.
So he's 29.
We know it's not
Or
AFC
younger.
East or West, so it's
He's 26, between 26 and 29.
Yeah, we're looking for a young running back between 26
Craig in the
and
chat
29.
says
What about
James,
Mondre?
James Cook. He also threw the grimace emojis out there, dude. Shout out grimace.
James
James
Cook
Cook's
is too young.
Too young.
Yeah. What about Ramondre Stevenson?
East,
Andre.
no East. No East.
Oh no, East.
Thank you.
I said Weast.
East.
Zach Moss.
Zach Moss
On
could
the
be
Colts?
correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what
He's-
his number is.
He's relatively young, right?
10? This is number 10.
Zach Moss. Okay, so we got some things. We got quite a bit right with Zach Moss. Indianapolis is correct. AFC South is correct. So it's
Jonathan Taylor.
no, he's too. Is Jonathan Taylor the right age? What was the other guy?
He's 20. Yep, it's
Beyond-
Jonathan Taylor. I just wrote the Colts article yesterday. Just yesterday. He's 24.
Jonathan Taylor is absolutely correct.
24. Gosh dang.
Nice
Yeah.
work, guys.
The Colts are an interesting spot here. Speaking of Jonathan Taylor, they're pretty set at running back. They have Michael Pittman. They have a ton of tight ends. Jelani Woods, though Mo Cox is on the trade block. What do you think they do at quarterback? Do you think they draft one at 4, or do you think they're going to bring in a veteran and try and make a run immediately?
Well, we got reports this weekend that their center was on the trade block as well.
Saw that. That sucked.
so-
He's really good.
That's what it seems more like maybe they're not going all in to try to win right now with the pieces that are up for sale. I don't know. I think they probably get a bridge quarterback.
Without looking, if you guys had to guess how old Quentin Nelson is, their star, maybe the best guard in the league, how old?
25?
Do you think he is?
He's pretty young. He's what? I'm with
Strap,
JL. I'll say
23.
25.
26. He's 26, turns 27. But I mean, like, talk about one of the best assets in the league. Like, this guy's been all pro for like 4 years in a row now, and he's still only like 26.
Best asset in the league. Quentin.
Nice
Quentin Nelson.
asset.
A lot of people have called me best asset in the league.
Yeah, you got a nice asset.
Well, guys, coming up, we're going to talk some more about JL's nice asset. We also got some games for you. We're going to sell you some pens and some other assorted goodies and takes. We're going to talk some free agency predictions, go over the results of some of the BSN match game, and talk other free agents as the legal tampering period kicks off today at 11. We'll play some poll perception and then help Reddit with their toughest life questions in a section we call We Answer Reddit. You're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Talk about your picks and your fantasy teams on Better Sports Network.
The importance of checking out the site that you're playing on. Default rankings of these sites. A lot of times they don't get updated. I know from experience. I used to write default rankings for the NFBKC, the basketball version of the NFBC. I'd write these default rankings in June for the NBA, before the NBA draft, before free agency opened up. And guess what? I was never asked to write an update article or update the default rankings. This happens a lot. Maybe if there's something obvious, it gets updated. Aaron Judge, for some reason, hurts his back. Maybe they make that change. Just maybe. But you don't know that. And that's why it's just so important that you show up to your draft room or you do that pre-draft prep. We're all busy. We know we're about to devote a lot of time to our fantasy baseball drafts. Why not spend the extra 20 to 25 minutes to invest properly in your team, to go and see which of those players are way down default rankings? They're going to be different on all of these sites, and you're going to be looking at them and going, maybe their analysts think a certain player who shouldn't be in the top 100, who should be maybe even not even the top 200, will be in that top 100. You got to check that out. You got to know where you're playing, just like you got to know your format when you sign up for the league. It's just so crucial, and people just skip right over it. You think it's cool to show up to the draft room 3 minutes before the draft. Well, number one, it's not cool because the commissioner's trying to make sure it is organized, especially me, who runs auctions. You can't, it's one thing if someone doesn't show up for the snake draft, oh well, doesn't ruin it for everyone. Auctions, you can't have someone not show up. Auto bidding, auto auctioning, it ruins the sanctity of those drafts here, which is why I always recommend, hey, make it easy on your commissioner. Don't make them send those texts there. It's annoying. You shouldn't have to do that. Don't wait till the last minute and get in there about 20, 25 minutes before so you can just look up and down the entire default rankings list so you can make a queue out of that, Ron. And the reason I keep saying this is because people still show up 2-3 minutes before the draft, and that's it. In fact, in one of my auctions, people were asking me where certain players were, and I go, did you search their name? No, I just got in. Well, that's no excuse right there. That's your own fault. I mean, you're organized, so you're a hard person to ask here.
You're getting those questions. This is your preschool league, right? People don't know how to search player names.
People freak out. They don't think. That's the problem. Because they show up 2 minutes before the draft. That's why.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com. Weekdays at 5 Eastern on Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We are about to get into a game called Sell Me This Pen, where we're going to have to give sales pitches on topics that we did not hear ahead of time. And yes, you heard that right. Pitches.
Sales
pitches.
pitches.
Sales pitches.
Sales pitchy.
They're
Whenever I used to
similar,
drive-
but they're about pens.
Whenever I used to drive to visit my sister in college, she went to college down in Milledgeville, Georgia. I would drive through from Clemson, South Carolina to Milledgeville, Georgia. You drive through
Milledgeville.
the 30s. Like you drive through the middle of nowhere, just like back in
1830s.
and there's a big old sign that says Petches for sale. Peches number 4 SALE. Petches for sale. They're selling peaches.
Peaches.
They got the best peaches you've ever had.
I'm like,
The
what could
Petches
this
for
be?
sale place.
Patches?
No,
Get your
just some-
patches.
just
Sewn
some
on
patches.
patches, steamed on patches, ironed on patches.
You want a fresh pitch?
I get you a patch. I get you an old patch.
Yeah, I do want a pitch.
That's
I could do
hilarious. Patches for sale.
Patches for sale everywhere. Well, guys, we're going to get into some Sell Me This Pen. For those of you who have never done it with us before, we're making sales pitches on topics that we have not heard. John Luke, who's going first on today's Sell Me This Pen?
You are.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, I was born ready for this.
The randomizer.
Randomizer.
Classic
Are you ready?
randomizer.
Simon is going first.
All right, Simon. There's going to be a little wrinkle in this game this time. Typically, I ask you guys to sell me this pen. I won't always be asking you to sell me this pen. You might be selling someone specific just like in this case, Simon. Sell a sleeping Matt Deutsch on canceling this show.
Ooh.
He's asleep while I'm making this sale.
He's dead asleep.
Okay.
Just deep dead sleep.
Trying to incept him.
Okay. No. It's okay. No. It's okay. Don't wake up. You're fine. You're fine.
Don't wake up.
No. Stay in bed. Shh. You're good. This is me tickling his back. No, you're fine. Yeah. No, it's me, Simon. Yeah, I know it's weird. I'm in New York, but like East Coast. I'm usually from Texas. No, I came on over just to talk to you. Like, it's actually Sunday. Yeah. Daylight savings time. It pushes a day back. They changed it this year. So because, every 100 years, the timing isn't actually a quarter of a day. So they have to add another day on. Yeah. It's not Monday, March 13th. It's Sunday, March 13th. There were 2 Sundays in this week. So you can just go back to bed.
Well done, Simon. Well done.
I wasn't trying to make a real sales pitch. I was just trying to manipulate him into staying in bed by tricking him into thinking it was still Sunday.
That was the whole
Nice
pitch.
job.
That was the whole pitch.
I don't know if he's going to cancel the show, but I hope so.
Well, he's not going to have to cancel it because he's going to think it's Sunday. And then we just play along with it.
And then every day,
it's like
every day Sunday.
It's like the parent. Oh, I thought you meant just cancel it one day. You meant permanently.
Yeah.
I took this show literally as in this episode.
This one right now.
This show right now.
Well, you succeeded in that, Simon. You absolutely knocked that one out of the park. Well done.
I'm glad you went that
I feel
direction
like
too, because I was just
my,
thinking about all the reasons you should cancel the show completely, and it wouldn't have been that. It would not have been that hard.
I know it's tough to come up with.
I feel like my morning meeting with Matt's can be a little weird today.
I
I just tickled his back to sleep.
know it was just hypothetical, but
He's like, that does sound nice.
I wouldn't be lying if I said that wasn't comfortable. All right, Coop, you are up next. You ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Coop. Sell an angry Tom Brady on unretiring from the NFL.
Ooh, an angry Tom Brady. Look,
Angry.
Tom, relax. Sit down. Here, have some avocado ice cream for you. It's your favorite, right? No nightshades.
Avocado.
Guacacado. It's a little bit. It's a little bit fancier than what you're used to. I know, but dig in there, my boy. Now, all this stuff that's been bugging you, right? Your, the wife situation. We don't like to talk about the impending presidential run that you're probably gearing up to make, which is probably very stressful. But you know what helps you relieve stress? Chucking touchdowns to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Kate Otten. And you know what's even more fun than that? Crushing Baker Mayfield's dreams once again. So why not wait till the moment that Baker signs with the Bucs, announce you're coming back, bring Bruce Arians back, bring Rob Gronkowski back, bring Julian Edelman back, bring James White back, run it back, win the Super Bowl. Danny Amendola, bring back Kevin Falk, right? And win the goddamn Super Bowl again. And that'll settle you down. Now, enjoy that ice cream, and I'll see you out there.
Well done, Coop.
That one had a little extra twinkle on it. Is that a new ding?
It's a new one. I also got.
I think the idea of him coming back is probably more of a sad trombone sound.
Sad trombone than
Yeah.
Probably.
Unfortunately.
Well done, Coop. I think you did it. I think you did what Giselle couldn't do.
Giselle was trying to convince him to go back.
Have any sort of influence on whether he comes back or not.
Any sort of influence. I think it's now I'm imagining Tom like unretiring. He's like, fine, Giselle. She's like, no. He's like, okay, I'll do it.
Stop.
Scott Fish in the chat. What's up, Scott? He said, I think it would be interesting to bring Jameis Winston to the Bucs too. Yeah, bring Baker, bring Jameis, and then have Tom Brady unretire.
Yes.
And have the most exciting quarterback room in the NFL. Tom Brady, Jameis Winston, Baker Mayfield.
Oh my God.
You need a kid in there 24/7. One fixed on all three of them, and then one for the entire crew. You need 4 cameras on that team at all times.
I feel like just the absolute dynamic, like passive aggressive dynamics going on in that room would be wild.
Imagine them having to do like a joint pump up speech where they're all in there together.
Just talking over each other.
Jameis is eating W's and Brady's this glass.
They're just like
Baker
fighting
Mayfield's
over control.
like donkey donging everywhere, just all over everyone, just like slinging his arm down everywhere.
Got it, dude.
Donkey dong.
Craig in the chat said sad trombone is what I call. Never mind. It's a touchy
Nice,
subject.
Craig.
I get it, Craig.
Very nice.
We understand. All right, Simon, back to you. You ready?
Yeah.
Simon, Sell a caveman on letting Baker Mayfield move in with him.
A caveman on letting Baker Mayfield move in with him. Okay, so before I get into this, I just want to address the audience here before I talk to my friend, the caveman here. I know you guys are expecting me to speak down to him, to talk in ooga booga caveman language. It's 2023. Okay, I am not going
Have
to
some
speak down to
respect.
this man. So I just want to address everybody here that's expecting that. They're looking at me thinking, he's going to talk caveman. I'm not doing that. I'm talking to this man like the equal that he is. The equal that is looking for a new roommate in a day where rent is out of control. Just unbelievable. You can't afford a cave like you used to.
Not in
Like,
LA.
Yeah, come on. Like, not even in Des Moines, Iowa anymore. Know what I mean? Like Des Moines, the LA of the Midwest. It's getting kind of crazy out there. So this caveman, he's been in the caves of the Appalachians for quite a while. He's been living down there. And now I'm going to talk to you, caveman. I know you like your privacy. I know you like your quiet. But the world's getting wild, man. In your little private area of the Appalachians that once was unencumbered by visitors, man, they're starting to encroach. The trees are coming down. The cabins are being built. Those people out in LA are getting sick of the prices, and they're moving East Coast to the mountains where it's the East Coast beautiful instead of West Coast beautiful. You're going to start seeing these mansions popping up. And you know what you need to keep all those rich assholes away? Your own rich asshole. Right there in your cave. One who's got the moxie and the fight to go yell at anybody for any reason whatsoever. You just tell them that they think he's a little short, okay? And Baker Mayfield will be your guard dog out front. And on top of that, you know what? Playing those cave games gets a little boring. You got stick, you got rock. By yourself, you can only control
Fire.
one of those characters. Baker Mayfield can be your player too. You can be stick and he can be rock. They're going to have two different voices now whenever you role play their lovemaking at night because you're lonely in your cave.
And you're a caveman.
And you're a caveman. I just really think for your mental health, your physical well-being, and the safety of the lifestyle that you treasure alone in these woods, it sounds counterintuitive, but you need to add another man to this mix, and that man is Baker Mayfield.
Oh,
Simon, you
Simon,
hit on two beautiful points here. You hit on how are you going to survive? How are you going to survive in a modern day without your own rich asshole Baker Mayfield? And the second one being you need companionship. It's fundamental to the human condition.
Yeah, the problem is you didn't quite nail it. You were so close, Simon. You were so close. But I actually personally know Caveman. And when we play
Caveman?
I do know him. I know him well. I moved over from the West
He's
Coast
always rock.
to East Coast. Yeah, he actually prefers to be rock when we play stick and rock. So, so close.
So close. I think Baker can be a stick guy.
You think he
can
could
be a
make? You
stick
think
guy.
he could do it?
Easily.
Well,
He can do
then
the stick voice.
I think you could. I think if you let Caveman
stick.
be stick in the game, then I think you might be able to sell him.
Okay, I'm in.
There you go. Beautiful. Well done, Simon.
Dustin said, "Hey, caveman, want to be the smartest person in the room all the time? Then let Baker move in with you."
That got me.
Nick
Nick said caveman goes by a gay person now.
It's 2023.
True.
All right.
True. That's true. Well done. Well done on that one. Coop, we're back to you.
Okay.
Your next one. Sell Dustin in the chat on no longer being a Bills fan.
Ooh. Were these written in advance? Did you know Dustin? I guess Dustin does hang.
Oh yeah, it was a big stretch.
We got lucky that Dustin was here. Dustin, my boy,
How would I ever know?
My sweet angel, sweet Buffalo darling, and Combine correspondent. Here's the thing about being a Bills fan. One of the beauties of being a Bills fan is that you've gone through so much mutual trauma with your Bills compadres, right? You're out there not only just recently losing with Josh Allen, but they also lost in the Music City Miracle. And before that, they lost 4 Super Bowls in a row. That's an important part of being a Bills fan. That's the type of pain that you can hide down deep inside, and it only comes out when there's a folding table in the parking lot. You just cram that pain down with beers and buffalo wings and eating them properly and yelling at anyone else for daring to put ranch on their wings or call chicken tenders wings or anything involving wings that isn't just pure wing eating. Now, if you were to stick with the Buffalo Bills moving forward, they are looking primed to actually win the Super Bowl. And I really, truly don't think that's the purest way to be a Bills fan. If you want to be a pure Bills fan, you absolutely need to jump ship now before they win the Super Bowl and ruin everything. So I think you should consider trying to get out now before the worst thing that could happen to the Bills, which is win. And then you just become an annoying fan like the rest of us. And it's horrible. So be careful. Be careful.
Love the lose your identity argument with the Bills. I wasn't sure where you were going. The Wings, I was like, okay, I can get behind it. But if you are the fan when they win a Super Bowl, you have lost your identity as a Bills fan.
It's true. It's true. You're going to lose that piece of innocence, right?
Dustin said Coop is dead to me. How dare you bring up the Music City forward pass?
Calling it the Music City forward pass is hilarious. I've actually never heard anyone say that. That's so good.
That's really funny.
Yeah. It's just like, it's so crazy.
Thing.
And the illustrious history of the Bills losing, like you forget about all the little times that they got screwed. Like that was such a ridiculous play. Just, and then the Titans went to the Super Bowl.
It's true. That is the information I knew.
And Erndog says it's true. Cubs fans are miserable since they won the World Series. Exactly. They had the curse. They had something before. They had the goat, whatever they do, the ivy. I guess they still have the ivy, but you know,
they got Bill Murray.
They have Bill Murray, and that's all they have.
They have a small bear on their logo.
Yeah, like once you get rid of the curse, now you're just one of the worst teams ever, right? Like now you're instead of not winning in 100 years, you've won, but you've
lost a lot.
Yeah, you've won once in 100 years. Now you're just a big loser.
It's like the Bucs. You can't bring up their 2 Super Bowls without being like, also, do you know they have the lowest win percentage in NFL history of any franchise? Like they either win a Super Bowl or suck.
Thanks for bringing that up, though.
I always wondered if maybe like these curses were related to like the 2 teams that had the long curses also had the oldest stadiums. So for a long time, I just wondered if maybe the design for these stadiums was just not creating a home field advantage. Like
it was like at a slight incline or something.
Oops, I mean the Red Sox have this gigantic wall in left field that's just absurd, and I'm just thinking to myself like maybe that's a bad idea. Considering if we
don't make it more difficult for the home team.
For the home team. Yeah. If we haven't won in 100 years, maybe having a cartoonish wall on one side of the stadium is a bad idea. What do you guys think?
It's too late now, though. They're committed. You're not going to get rid of the wall and be like, we want it to be easier.
Yeah, they figured out the secret. Just bring in a just absolute left-handed monster in David Ortiz and just hit him the other way, right? It took him forever. It took him forever to come up with that idea, but it ended up working out in the end.
Yeah.
Well, John Luke, I don't think you're going to get out of this.
No.
Skate free. You're going to have to make a sales pitch for us.
Get him.
All right.
You going to be able to do it?
Yeah.
You think so? You ready?
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, what I need you to do is I need you to sell DJ Moore on Chicago-style pizza.
Oh,
he's moving there on that deep dish,
extra
saucy. Yeah, like that needs to be his new favorite food. He's moving to Chicago. He's real nervous about the pizza because, you know, he's been a thin crust guy, but I need you to sell him on thick crust, deep. It's not even thick crust, deep dish Chicago-style pizza.
Basically lasagna.
It's basically lasagna.
It is basically lasagna.
I've never thought about that. It's very similar to lasagna.
All right, DJ, take a seat. Take a seat right here. Pull out your chair for you.
Okay. Yeah, not that one.
You want any food? No, you're good. Okay. Listen, DJ, you're moving up to Chicago, and there's some things that you need to know about Chicago before you move up there, because otherwise it's going to be a very rude awakening. Number 1, it's cold AF. What's better to keep you warm? Coffee, a jacket, or a pizza that's essentially soup? Hot piping soup in a crust bowl, in a giant bread bowl. That's going to keep you warm for hours, DJ. You want to eat this right before every meal because you don't want that cold disadvantage. You're used to playing in Charlotte, and I've lived 2 hours from Charlotte. It is warm. It barely gets cold there. Chicago, there's snow. There's this thing, it's snow. It comes from the sky. It's super, super cold. You don't want to touch it. Get some deep dish. You're gonna love it. It's very warm.
The it's soup and it's cold argument for deep dish pizza. I like it. Tommy in there with the perfect closing line for this argument.
Go deep.
Go deep, DJ.
Go deep. Wow, that is bad.
That's awesome.
Thing is,
awesome, Tommy.
deep dish pizza, like I like it. I just have to separate it from pizza. It's like a different thing to me. Like I literally be like, do I want pizza or do I want deep dish pizza?
I went to Chicago for a job interview. My plane got delayed, so I arrive at like 11:30 p.m. But I'm like, I'm in Chicago for one night. I'm having freaking deep dish pizza. So I ordered it, and they had like 4 people with a wheelbarrow carry my pizza up to the room because it's like 85 pounds. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but this thing was so heavy when they brought it up there. I understood why one pizza was like $30. And then I had the worst interview day of my life the next day.
Because there's so much cheese.
Oh my God, was that a mistake? And it was an interview day. It was an event. I had like group panels.
How many times did you go to the bathroom?
I pooped.
How many
like
times did you
6
scuttle away into the
times.
bathroom?
We're
6 times.
No, one second. Where's your water fountain? Waddle to the bathroom.
We've all been there.
Oh,
We've all
boy.
been there.
That was the worst mistake I've ever made.
That
That's
sounds
not
pretty
true.
It's not even close.
Yeah, I will say this: if you're like talking about Chicago foods, the deep dish pizza isn't even the most blasphemous one. I think it's that hot dog that the way they make hot dogs with like, have you seen them? Like tomatoes on them.
No, I'm not a hot dog connoisseur, so I may not know
They
anything
put-
about their hot dogs.
What a terrible title.
They put
Hot dog connoisseur.
They put tomatoes, a whole pickle, like an entire long pickle, and like pepperoncinis on there. Like it's like I want a hot dog, not a salad.
If I was gonna eat a hot dog, I don't think it would be that one.
You definitely can't start there. That's not.
I think it'd be the one covered in like French fries and nacho cheese and hot sauce, and where I would
Where's
just try
that?
to like ignore the hot dog underneath, just like eat everything else and pretend like
Just
there
eat
is
that
not.
stuff.
Well, I'm
The
saying
best-
if I had to eat a hot dog, I'm gonna
Okay,
disguise
so
it in
you're
my
being
favorite
forced to
food.
eat a hot dog.
best hot dog I ever had was in Iceland. Believe it or not.
That's not what I expected. Dustin said Chicago dogs are the worst. It's like a Bloody Mary on a hot dog.
Yeah, it's gross, dude. In Iceland, they have these hot dogs that are famous. In fact, Bill Clinton even said they were the best hot dogs in the world, so he agrees with me as well.
You did tell us that.
Yeah, but they put like the fried onions on there, which is
Mm,
like absurd. It's basically a bloomin' onion on a hot dog.
delicious. Well, guys, coming up, we're going to talk some more bloomin' onions. In fact, that's what the rest of the show is about, breaking down the nutritional value of the Outback bloomin' onion. So if you're excited
so
for
good.
that, man,
Hell yeah.
we are so excited for that as well. We might talk some free agency if we have time after the bloomin' onion talk, play some poll perception, and answer Reddit's toughest questions. But first and foremost, bloomin' onion. You're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
As a longtime baseball fan, here's my message to other baseball fans, to steal a line from the Packers' future Hall of Fame quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, RELAX. Everyone needs to relax after what we saw this past weekend at spring training games out in Arizona and down in Florida. Got going, and we're inching closer and closer to Major League Baseball opening day. The rule changes in Major League Baseball is not for myself. It's not for you out there, the hardened baseball fan, whether you're a fan 5, 10, 15, 30, or even 50 years from all around this great country. It's not for those that are going to be locked in. It's for trying to generate more fans. So if they want the pitcher to go out there and work in rhythm with a guy on base, begin the windup within 20 seconds, nobody on base, begin the windup within 15 seconds, or have the batter make sure that he's back in the batter's box within 8 seconds, then making the base pass first, second, and third bigger, eliminating the shift. All of this is to make the game better. We've seen leagues, whether it be the National Football League, do they get to the same league as it is today in 2023, or what we saw in 2022 as it was 30 years ago? No, it's not. Is NBA basketball the same? No. How many games do you see being played? 83-79 finals. You don't see that at all. So every league adjusts to try and bring what? More fans into the sport. And that is something that Major League Baseball is going out there and trying to do. I've been critical at times of Rob Manfred, whether or not as a MLB commissioner, whether he likes the sport based on some of the rhetoric that he has spewed in years gone by. But I got to be honest with you, as a longtime baseball fan, I've been a Yankee fan my entire life. Watched a ton of Met games here in the tri-state area. Watched baseball all around. Can't wait for October baseball. Think it's absolutely unbelievable what is transpiring now and what's happening now, and the rule changes being brought about baseball. It's going to bring back to the game to when I became a fan, where the stolen base was something, moving guys over was something, having men on base, batting averages ascending, not being an all or nothing league where either you're striking out or hitting the ball over the fence. And that is what baseball is trying to do. So as everybody tries to adjust, and change is difficult, whether you're changing your diet, exercise routine, changing your relationships, changing a job, change is different. I get that. And it's hard. But let's take a step back. Let's understand what Major League Baseball is trying to do here. And they're trying to repopulate or repopularize the sport. That's what they're trying to do. They're clearly the third most popular sport in the United States. They want to make it less regionalized. This is the way they need to go about doing it. I'm all for it. For more content like this, download the Better Sports Network app or go to bettersports.com.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. It's in the game, and we're about to get into some free agent predictions and talking about where these free agents are going to land. Today is the beginning of the legal tampering period, starting at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So we're going to start seeing these free agents that we've been talking about since the season ended start landing on teams, see where they're actually ending up. This is some of the best parts of the offseason, right? Where we get to just wildly speculate about a player that's never played with anybody else on that team before.
It's my very favorite.
It's
very
the best.
favorite.
I remember when Sammy Watkins was signed to the Chiefs. I think it was the Chiefs years ago. It was like big. It was like the first day of free agency. And I think I was home with Rosie from work that day. She was sick or something. And it was just like news. I was like, yeah, Christmas.
We are so back, right? You and Sammy Watkins and Clemson, we're so back.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I was so hyped because that was the big signing that year was Sammy Watkins.
Yeah.
I just reread that Sammy Watkins last week, and I bring it up all the time.
Article.
The What Sammy Watkins Believes Bleacher Report article. It is my favorite NFL article of all time.
They did him so dirty.
You think so? I thought they did a pretty good job of like making him like humanizing some of his like more odd beliefs that he gets made fun of for. Like
maybe it's just skewed in my mind because I'm biased. In my head, I was like, "Don't make fun of Sam."
No, I feel like they also highlighted the shit that went wrong with the Bills. That's why I like the articles. I feel like a lot of times Sammy Watkins gets all the hate, but the article highlights like it was messed up how they treated him in Buffalo.
Screwed him, yeah.
Like they absolutely screwed Sammy. And if you read that article, it kind of highlights that, and it takes these like we've all heard his like lizard people thoughts and stuff like that, but like it's easy to make fun of him for that. But when you listen to the man talk about it, like. He's just a dude who believes that. Like, don't humanize him.
The article also does a good job of saying, like, hey, you know what? Like, this is what he believes, but it's not hurting anybody. And it kind of points out where parts of his beliefs help got him to where he is and help him be a better guy. You know what I mean? So that one, and the other part, JL, is that there were a lot of direct quotes in there. So I may have
mischaracterized the article. My apologies.
Well, the thing is, no. Well, JL, there are a bunch of things that are weird, but the thing is,
There's a specific article I'm thinking of that was calling out just the wild stuff that was making fun of him. I was thinking of a different article.
That might have been a Reddit post. That might have been the Reddit post that I posted.
It wasn't a Reddit post. It was an article.
Might have been the Reddit post that I posted, or the subreddit that I'm a moderator of, talking about the cult of Amen. But that's a totally different story.
We got Nick in the chat over here saying Iceland doesn't have the best hot dogs. Tommy's Burger in LA has the best chili dog. But we'll find out.
And then Tommy in the chat,
we may never find out.
Tommy in the chat saying he makes hot dogs called Rippers that are fried hot dogs, cheese, onions, bacon, and jalapenos. That sounds awesome. Speaking as the hot dog connoisseur of this group, and probably the only one that's had a hot dog within the last decade, that sounds good.
Untrue.
When's the last H dog you scarfed?
H dog. I don't know. Probably college.
When's the last time you scarfed an H diesel?
2019, but it was It was chopped up and served with rice and hot sauce and salsa.
By his mom.
No, by
cut into little slices so that he
yes.
can chew it. With
And
his
my mom
fork.
cut up my hot dog and put it in my mac and cheese. And I know she hid broccoli in there, but she swears she did.
Tried to put ketchup down, but you said no.
She said those little green specks come with the Kraft mac and cheese. That's for extra flavor. Those aren't vegetables.
So it's
Just
only
little green
it's only
spice.
recently that you guys are off the H dogs.
Oh, I've never
Oh,
liked
Dustin-
H dogs, but I've eaten an H dog.
Okay.
Dustin coming in, ballpark dog. Man, those are the shit back in the day. Probably still are the shit if you eat that. But Justin said jail only eats hot dogs from elevators. That's true. I guess my last hot dog was in Detroit.
That's
That elevator dog.
It's calling your name, dude.
Yeah, if you're unaware, when Simon and I were at the FSGA conference this past summer in Detroit, I went up to the room to get something, and I came back down, sitting there texting on my phone, and all of a sudden the elevator door opens, and I look up, and there's just a hot dog on the ground, perfectly placed hot dog, still in like the little skirt. I don't know what you call that thing, in the bun.
Hot dog skirt.
Hot dog skirt, H dog skirt.
Yeah, it's his hot dog skirt.
And I just look around like, this is a trap. So someone's messing with me right now. And
You're on
I just
camera,
stood
dude.
I stood there for a solid 5 seconds.
That's
Just
the
like,
thing. You gotta know. You
Someone's
gotta
messing
know
with
you're
us,
on
yeah.
camera. You can't pick up that dog. Can't touch that dog, just in case it's like a prank show. They're like, you about to eat a hot dog off the ground? No, I wasn't.
no. And then I got in. I laughed, took a picture, started to post it on Twitter, and I got in, rode the elevator down, and then the elevator door opens in the lobby, and there's just a woman standing there, and she just looks at me, looks down at the hot dog, looks back up at me, and just busts out laughing.
You're gonna eat that?
There's a hot dog. She's losing her mind.
Yeah, dude. Did she
The
scoop
funniest thing she's
it?
ever seen in her life.
And then you both dove for it at the same time.
And then you lady in the tramp the hot dog in the elevator, and that's the woman you're marrying later this year.
That's how we met.
I feel like my willingness to eat random hot dogs off the ground can be measured in beers. Like, how many beers do I need to have to be like, well, it's still in the wrapper.
It still got skirt.
Still got skirt.
That's fair. Yeah, my tolerance for where that food came from changes a little bit based on. My girlfriend made fun of me the other day because I was eating pizza in bed, which I am not a bed eater usually, but man, did I want that pizza in bed. And then an hour later, I just I feel something scratching my leg, and I reach out and I, without thinking, just pop it straight in my mouth. And she goes, "You did not just find pizza in the bed and then eat it." And I went
Could have been a
100%
scab for all
found
you
a
know.
chunk of pizza stuck to my leg. We changed the sheets after that.
Little bed pizza, dude.
A
No
little
bigs.
bed pizza.
Little bed pizza. Scott Fish wants to know, are you guys going to Cleveland? I believe so. That's the plan.
Yeah. That's the plan as of now. But as we are known for, it's not planning ahead. So
Okay, we
Figure it
plan on planning that, but we will
Yeah.
see how well that plan goes.
I was gonna bring something up related to the pizza, and now I can't remember.
I
Oh
guess-
well.
Oh, well, let's get into some free agency talk, guys. Last week, myself, John Luke, and then Tim joined us a little bit throughout it to go through some landing spots for some of these free agents. I wanted to go through some of the ones we talked about last week, as well as some of the ones we did not. Let's start with one that we did not talk about last week, and that's because there was news coming out about him this weekend. That's wide receiver Allen Lazard of the Green Bay Packers. Some people consider him to be the best free agent wide receiver here. It's probably between him, Juju, and Jacoby Myers, but he's in that top tier. Coop, sorry, I'll throw DJ Chark up there. My bad. Didn't mean to offend you. But a quote that came from Lazard this weekend talks about Lazard this weekend was that he was waiting for Aaron Rodgers to make his decision before he made his decision on where he wanted to go. So it looks like he might want to go where Aaron Rodgers goes, though he did highlight he's going to make the best decision for himself, but he's waiting to see.
Yeah, I think the way that's inevitably works with Allen Lazard is that if Rodgers is staying with the Packers, he'll stay with the Packers. If Rodgers is going to the Jets, I don't think the Jets are going to want to make such a lateral move from Corey Davis to Lazard, just because when they cut Corey Davis, they still have a pretty big hit, a pretty big cap hit. So now it's like the equivalent of paying Lazard the 15-20 million or whatever he gets plus Corey Davis. It's like now you have one $30 million split end instead of just keeping Corey Davis. So I think for Lazard, his decision is more like, okay, do I stay here with Rodgers or do I leave? And if Rodgers goes to the Jets, maybe Lazard goes to the Chiefs, right? Which is a team I've seen him rumored to.
Yeah, I think that makes a ton of sense. That makes way more sense than he's trying to follow Rodgers. But why leave Green Bay if Rodgers is staying, and then I'll figure it out if he's not.
Yeah, with certain teams, he could follow him. You know, but the Jets they already have. I feel like they already got kind of a full room there. But some other teams he could follow him. And a guy like Lazard, when we talk about like the best wide receiver, like it's hard to compare him to Jacoby Myers. They're two very different players. But like Allen Lazard might be the best wide receiver for certain teams. I look at the Chiefs. They had Justin Watson playing 60 to 70% of the snaps, and they had Noah Gray, the second tight end, playing 60% of the snaps because those guys are good blockers compared to Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney. So for them to be able to bring in a big split end who is a good run blocker and he can get it done in the pass game, I think that's the exact kind of player for a team like that versus some other teams where Allen Lazard might not be the best fit for them. Right?
I'm with you. Chiefs make the most sense to me. If I had to guess today where he's going to end up, it's Packers or Chiefs. Stays with the Packers, heads on over to the Chiefs.
There you go.
Man, just following in Marquez Valdez-Scantling shoes.
I know. Marquez Valdez-Scantling was campaigning for Lazard to go to the Chiefs, and I don't think Marquez Valdez-Scantling thought hard enough about his own contract, because I'm a little worried that if the Chiefs bring in a guy like Allen Lazard, they look and say, hey, by the way, Marquez, we might need to cut you to afford this deal.
That would be that would be awful. You campaign for someone to come in and get you fired. The guy that you bring in, they're like, now that we got Lazard.
They sit him down, they're like, hey, we have some good news and we have some bad news.
I played that game. I did the good news, bad news game with my girlfriend on Friday because we don't check the mail very often. Jail, you know the mail struggles. You check the mail every once in a while. It's really hard.
Yeah.
And I came in, she was running on the treadmill, and I opened the door, got her to take her headphones off, and I'm like, good news or bad news? She goes, good news. And I was like, you got a birthday present from my sister.
Yeah.
Yes. She's like, bad news. And I was like, you have jury duty on Monday.
No.
She's at jury duty right now. She found out on Friday.
No.
It had been in our mailbox for weeks. But she pulled it out on Friday, found out Monday that she had jury duty.
Was it ahead of, like, did she do it ahead of time enough? I don't know if Texas works the same.
It says you have to like sign online 5 days in advance, but I was like, they're not going to not let you do jury duty. And she logged on and let her register and whatever.
Oh, that's good.
So she's good to go. And Craig said, I was checking the mail hard. I never said it was hard. I said I didn't do it. There's plenty of things that are not hard that I don't do. It's an activation energy thing, not a difficulty of the task.
Scott Fish in the chat said up to 25K if we can get 25K people to fill it out.
Yes, that is his. They're running a bracket, March Madness bracket, along with, I believe, like Pat Mayo and those guys.
I'm guessing that he posted a comment with a link and that it got filtered out because that's the only comment we see, Scott. Yeah, if you text me the link, I'll post in the chat. I think it works if I can do it.
Yeah, if you go to his Twitter, you'll find it there. And it's just filling out a bracket, and you don't have to pay anything, and they donate $1 if you do it. So pretty good, dude. Pretty awesome. Pretty good reason to do it. I'm gonna do it.
And we got our own bracket challenge. Nice little free bracket challenge we're running. I'll throw that link in the chat as well. You can join that for some FYF merch. We are working on a new rebrand. So this merch is gonna be tops. It's not gonna be that old merch. It's gonna be that new merch.
Get merch.
Unless you want Inches by Simon. We'll keep
Unless you want Inches by Simon, in which case we'll make an exception.
That transcends any rebrand. It's just part of what we are.
Inches by Simon.
Well, guys, let's hit on some more of these free agents that we've been talking about. We polled a lot of the BSN users in our BSN match game contest where they thought 10 different players were going to go. Jimmy Garoppolo was the first player on that list. And the number one response from the BSN crowd on where Jimmy Garoppolo was going to end up was the Las Vegas Raiders with 38.6% of the vote. Second place, where I voted, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 20.5%. And then the 49ers, Jets, and Texans all tied at around 7%. Those were the top answer choices.
Yep.
I voted. You weren't here when we made these predictions.
I wasn't here
what
Friday.
Do you think?
I was traveling on Friday. So for me, I picked, because I did this, I filled this out, and I'm going to win. So I picked the Raiders on this one. I think he joins forces with Josh McDaniels once again. I think the Raiders end up with either Jimmy G or Jacoby Brissett, and they kind of run it back with McDaniels. But I think the Raiders are a perfect landing spot, and they have the weapons too. So if he has a choice in where to go, and the money is similar, that's the place I would go. Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, and a familiar coach, Josh Jacobs. I mean, yeah, sign me up for that.
Foster Moreau.
Well, he's a free agent, but
shoot. Well, then maybe he doesn't want to go there.
Imagine that's a sticking point. He's just
Hunter Long's no longer available.
Poking his finger on the table. I'm not signing unless Foster Moreau is back. I watched Jimmy G's like I watched every episode of Hard Knocks.
Joe, where did you say he was going to end up again?
I said he was going to end up at Houston.
The Houston Texans.
Yep.
Ooh, that's a spicy one. I like that. The third team on this list, the 49ers, I feel like that's a little bit delusional. Like 3 people picked the 49ers?
Yeah.
What's the thought
process?
They're not
going to go 49ers.
No.
They're not going to go 49ers. I don't think 49ers would sign Jimmy Garoppolo back. No. Why? They are flush with QB talent.
Yeah, for sure. They're going to get the thing with the Jimmy Garoppolo 49ers thing is that if they don't sign a high-end incoming free agent, they'll get a third-round comp pick back for Jimmy G. When another team signs him, like he's going to be one of the highest paid free agent quarterbacks, right? So they'll get a 3rd or 4th round pick just by not canceling out that equation. So the 49ers are actually sitting okay. And I think that's a big part of why they didn't trade him before. It's like, why would they trade him for a 3rd round pick last year when they could just get one for free?
Yeah. Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. So Coop says Raiders. I said Buccaneers. JL says Texans. And the BSN squad out there says Raiders as the top option. We'll find out. We'll find out. I'm curious to see where he does end up. I feel like he's had an interesting career arc. So I'm hoping for a little bit of success from him in his next landing spot. Mm-hmm. Now, a wide receiver that was on this list that I think we should talk about was wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster. Jail and I both made our predictions last week. Jail, you said the Minnesota Vikings. I said the Baltimore Ravens. I said he was going to your Ravens squad. And the BSN squad out there thinks the Chiefs is the most likely landing spot for him. 36.4% say he's staying with the Chiefs. Ravens were second with 11.4%, and then Cardinals and Cowboys right after that with 7% each. Coop, where do you think Juju's ending up?
So on this one, I voted for the Browns, I believe. I think the Browns have Amari Cooper on the outside as their split end. They use a lot of 2 tight end sets with guys like David and Njoku. What they really need is a guy who can play flanker and play in the slot. So because a team that uses a lot of 2 tight end sets, they really need a guy like a Chris Godwin or a Cooper Kupp that if you go 2 tight end sets, he's out there opposite your split end, which is Amari Cooper. If you go 3 wide receiver sets, now he slides into the slot and plays from there, and then you bring in the other wide receiver on the outside, which would be Donovan Peoples-Jones. Right. So in this situation, I think Juju fits perfectly as that type of guy. Jacoby Myers could also fit as that kind of guy, but that's what this team needs, where since they already have a big bodied wide receiver and a guy like Amari Cooper, they already have a bigger speedster in Donovan Peoples-Jones, and they have a speedster in Anthony Schwartz. They don't need to go with like a DJ Chark or something like that. The slot guy is a better fit here. So I picked the Browns there, but apparently I was only one of 2 people that picked the Browns. So maybe not that popular of a take.
I don't dislike it though. What you just laid out, Coop, makes a ton of sense. And I'd like to see Juju in Cleveland. I'd be excited about that. As a Cleveland fan.
I would be wild. I honestly had not even gone through the thought process yet.
Yeah.
Of him being on that team.
I wrote up all 32 teams. So it's like the thing with Juju, what that made this one such a hard question is that there are so many teams that could use a Juju. It's harder to come up with teams that don't need Juju at all. Right. It's like Godwin. I mean, I guess the Bucks, but the Bucks could use a 3rd wide receiver, right? There's like every team could use a Juju. So that's a tough one. What'd you guys pick on that?
Not every team could use a Shark.
Not every team could use a Chark because some teams already got him. They already got a Chark. A lot of teams already have split ends. If you really think about it, like a lot of teams have Mike Evans, T. Higgins. They already have big outside guys.
Tommy said Panthers need a wide receiver now. Yeah, with DJ Moore out of there, they suddenly need some wide receiver help. Is there wide receiver 1 LaVisca Chenault now or Terrace Marshall?
Terrace Marshall, I'd say.
Terrace Marshall, probably.
I think they need at least one other wide receiver over there. It's not going to be Shi Smith or Laviska Shenault being the guy.
Terrace Marshall, those are their 3 starting wide receivers on their depth chart. It's Terrace Marshall, Shi Smith, and Laviska Shenault. They got Preston Williams, the dynasty sweetheart. Do you remember the Preston Williams saga? People were so convinced he was the future. He was the truth.
Sometimes those players come along and it feels so obvious that it's going to be a trap, but then it is a trap, and it feels like why didn't we all see this? Alex Collins is another one.
I may have spent 100,000 words on Reddit telling people that to sell Preston Williams, and I got so many downvotes. And nobody ever comes back on Reddit and says, hey, by the way, you were right. Like, you just get downvoted into oblivion, and then everyone just moves on.
and then they just think that they had that opinion the whole time.
Exactly. It truly, exactly. Everybody now is like, of course I knew that, but no, you didn't know.
Preston Williams, sure. Never fought for that.
My favorite Reddit threads are the ones that are like a look back at the Preston Williams hype train from 2018.
Yeah. Like the Russell Wilson one that we were talking about recently.
Yep. Oops. They do those every once in a while, and those are always fun to look back on.
I hope somebody does that soon with the Preston Williams one, because I'm up in there at the very bottom, just getting yelled at.
Up in there at the very bottom.
Up in there. I'm in there.
Jay in the chat says, I was in on Preston Williams. Hook, line, and sinker.
And Laviska Shenault.
Jay was just a real fan of this. This is his dream receiving core for the Panthers of like 3 years ago. Laviska Shenault, Preston Williams, Terrace Marshall. Jay's just like, oh my God, that lucky quarterback. Throw into this squad. Doesn't give it. Rashard Higgins, throw him on there. Since when?
Oh, what do you mean? He was never big.
They got Hollywood Higgins.
And they got a whole squad there. I guess I just ignored the wide receivers there outside of Laviska and DJ Moore for an entire season. It's pretty.
So where did you guys have Juju going?
To Minnesota.
And I had him going to Baltimore.
Oh, I like Minnesota. That's a good one.
I'm going to Baltimore.
Baltimore's a good one too.
Baltimore. You ever heard that song?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you have.
Baltimore is going to likely need wide receivers because the guy they brought in, Todd Monken from Georgia, he runs the same air raid offense that Cliff Kingsbury ran. Maybe obviously not the exact same, but it's the same style. And that uses a ton of 3 wide receiver and 4 wide receiver sets. And Todd Monken straight up said, he goes, tell you what, he goes, I like quarterbacks. I like wide receivers. That's where I come from. And I like throwing. I enjoy throwing the football. That's what he said. So going to be quite a bit different team than Greg Roman's. You know what I mean, pal?
So going to get Tyler Higbee.
Doubting shouts.
Can you imagine Tyler Higbee behind Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews?
Yeah, he'd probably be behind Charlie Kohler on that team too. Forget Tyler Higbee.
The name Isaiah Likely, like I had forgotten about it for a moment. And then I was taking this quiz on Sporkle over the weekend that was every NFL player that scored a touchdown during the 2022-2023 NFL season. So every touchdown scored. But what they did is they gave you each team and the positions. So it wasn't just like going blank. You were like Ravens, and then it would list all the positions. And I'm sitting there, and there's that extra tight end blank. And I'm like, I got Mark Andrews. I got Boyle. Who the hell is the third tight end that scored a touchdown for the Ravens? And with like 5 seconds left, Isaiah Likely hit me, and then I just got so excited for him again. Just like as a prospect, as a player, he's fun.
I'm with you.
I'm doing that quiz when we get off of here.
It's fun. It's like 25 minutes. Make sure you got some time separated for it.
Thank you for waiting until after the show, Coop.
I'm not. You know I'm not going to wait. All right.
Coop's like, we're in the middle talking about something. He's like, so just randomly, like, who do you think is like 4th or 5th on the depth chart at wide receiver for the Buccaneers? Like, just a wide receiver not named Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, or Scotty Miller that caught a touchdown pass for the Bucs.
I learned my lesson that I can't handle doing things during the show back during the Hogger days. The Hogger days when Hogger came out, and I was just like,
say 3 words to show
over here, and you guys are just like, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I agree. What else we got for free agents? Let's hit some more of these ones from the.
I wanted to know from you guys next is I wanted to hear about I want to hear about Aaron Rodgers and what you guys think he's going to do next. We talked a bit about him and Alan Lazard. We said Alan Lazard's waiting to hear from Aaron Rodgers, that like his decision is going to depend on that. Do you guys think he's going to retire? Is he going to end up on the Jets? The odd scenario that it sounds like the Packers don't even want, or he ends up back on the Packers. What's going to go on with this dude?
I don't think he ends up back on the Packers. I think they're ready to move on. I think he's ready to move on. I think the Jets is where he'll end up. Yeah. And the reason for that, one being that they're the most rumored to be going after Aaron Rodgers. They want him bad. Not only do the players on the team want him bad, but the front office wants him bad. The ownership wants him bad. So all of that, I think, is just going to feed into that ego, right? That's just going to feed into it's nice feeling wanted from somewhere. And that's something that Aaron Rodgers hasn't felt really the last few years in Green Bay. So I think that's where he'll end up. I don't see other teams really making an effort. And I think that'll go a long way for Rodgers.
Did you see Brandon Marshall's little quick interview with Aaron Rodgers? He like caught him.
I did.
Yeah, and he was like,
Was that now? Was that recent? Because his hair was short.
That was
now?
Yeah.
Did he cut his hair?
He must have, yeah, because it was pretty sure that was very recent. And he basically, Aaron Rodgers was like, he wouldn't tell him where he was going, and obviously Brandon Marshall was like, "Can I break the news when you decide?" Trying to sneak in there and get those likes, get those upvotes. But he basically was like, "There's a time limit to this stuff, and the answer's coming soon." And the way he kind of played around with Marshall and kind of pumped up Woody Johnson has me really thinking that there's a deal in place for the Jets, and they just need to finalize it. That's my thoughts.
It makes sense. I think he ends up on the Jets, though I'm waiting just for every year there's one move where it's just like, what? Where did that come from? And I want it to be with Aaron Rodgers. I want it to be a surprise team that none of us were expecting, but the Jets seem to make the most sense. That would be my guess.
Apparently his hair has been cut for months. Did I miss this?
The whole time?
I never know.
His hair has been cut since like week 17.
In my mind, he just now every time I picture Aaron Rodgers, it's in the white undershirt with the long hair. Like that is his picture in my mind.
Uncle Jesse, Aaron Rodgers.
Exactly. That's the Aaron Rodgers I know and love now.
This is blowing my mind because I saw that video and I'm like, that looks like an old video. Huh. Maybe I just tuned it out because I've seen him since then. I've watched him on Pat McAfee.
We went out to lunch. We went to Chipotle last week.
Yeah, we got food poisoning at Chipotle last week.
So Tim and you saying AFC East QBs would be fun. Allen, Rodgers, Tua, and no one else at all. Just those three. Yes, sir. Those QBs is all we need in the AFC East. Four's too many for us, I say. Just those three. No quarterback for the Patriots. He's scared of the Zapster is what he's scared of.
Bailey Zappi.
Just terrified of it.
Look out now. Look out now.
I'm hoping Rodgers doesn't stretch this out too long and we can find out in the next week or two where he's ending up. So we don't have to keep talking about it over and over and over again. So another free agent. Let's switch sides of the ball to talk about this next one. Jesse Bates is another player that the BSN took some info on from you that we were having you guys guess on in the BSN match game. And the most popular answer for where Cincinnati Bengals safety Jesse Bates would end up was with the Atlanta Falcons with 17.8% of the vote. Browns was the second most common, which is what I said. Bills was the third most common, followed by back with the Bengals. Coop, where do you think this boy's going to end up? Jesse Bates.
So I had one of the votes on here. Only one person that voted for the New England Patriots, and that was me. I think that this isn't a homer pick. It's just that the Patriots use a lot of safeties, and Devin McCourty just opted to retire. Devin McCourty for a long time was the highest paid safety in the league. Belichick is always willing to draft them, always willing to pay them big money, and I would not be surprised with the Patriots. They're like top 7 in available money this year to make splashes on multiple guys. Belichick even came out and said that over the last 3 years combined, they are one of the lowest teams in the league in spending. I know they did have the 1 year where they signed like Judon and Hunter Henry, but they do have a ton of money available. Last year they didn't sign anybody, so they collect the comp pick for J.C. Jackson. This year they make a big splash. I also, on this same list in the same game we're playing here, I also picked the Patriots to sign Orlando Brown, the left tackle from the Chiefs. So I think Patriots make a bunch of big splashes. Bates, Brown, maybe somebody else as well.
Battlestar Galactica.
Bates Brown beats Battlestar Galactica. I'm in. Jesse Bates, bring him on down, dude. He's the new Devin McCourty. Hope he's got a twin brother to join the team too.
I couldn't think of a single other word that started with B. I was trying so hard.
There's none left.
Uncles.
Bungle. There's only like 5 other NFL teams that start with B, but
Blue.
There you go.
good job.
You did it.
Hey, good job, Simon. I like that Georgia State sweatshirt there. It's pretty sick, dude.
I saw
Shout out Georgia State.
Pretty
during
clean,
the break.
man.
I went on
Pretty
Twitter
clean.
and I saw that I think Jay had posted a clip of us on the show. It was just Simon and I. And Simon, you were wearing the same sweatshirt, but a different hat.
Different hat. I do,
hat.
you know,
Did it look better with the
I
other hat or
don't-
that hat?
I don't throw my clothes away after one wear. I know that's common practice, but especially sweatshirts, I wear them multiple times.
Mm.
I'm throwing these on all the time. In fact, you may have seen my denim jacket I've worn a couple times in some of
Wow.
our videos.
Yeah, we should coordinate every day.
Not sure I remember
Every
that
day
one.
so that the clip comes out with exactly what you're wearing today.
Every single day. Oh, you mean like the promotional clip for today's show had me
It was
wearing
from
the
a
same
different
exact
day
outfit?
where you're wearing the same shirt. Yeah.
I want to apologize for being a smartass.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wasn't making the point that clothes are one wear only.
Yeah, I would like to retract my smartassery and say, oh, that's a pretty cool coincidence.
Pretty cool coincidence.
Retracted. We're good.
Ooh,
Smart ass.
a little too far.
Retracted. Sucked a little too hard.
Coop's face says, and that's my final straw. I'm out of here.
I'm like,
That's
okay.
where I draw the line on co-hosting the show.
The sound, yeah. I think it was the sound that did it.
Mhm.
The sound of a retracted
Why
smartass.
is it so slippery? That's
Just don't
the-
prolapse your smart ass.
Yeah.
Just make sure
We've
you're just
all wondered that.
retracting it.
That's the slippery one, dude. All right. All right.
All right.
glad we
That's
sorted
such a good
that.
transition.
I
For our
really
show.
Yeah, all right.
right.
I really apologize to everyone for starting that conversation, but just by complimenting your sweater because we
Should never have done it.
shouldn't have did that.
I don't know why I just thought of this. I did want to give a shout out. Georgia State is a local Georgia school, but the one that I took some summer classes at and I grew up near and a bunch of my friends went to, Kennesaw State University, is in the NCAA tournament, baby, as a 14 seed going up against Xavier.
Hey, what's Maryland seed?
4 million? I'm not sure. I
What's
haven't looked.
What's Clemson seed?
Clemson was absolutely freaking robbed from making the tournament. You're going to put a 23-10 NC State into the tournament over a 23-10 Clemson University
I
that was
hate
3-0. 3-0 by double-digit wins in NC State, in Clemson, in the ACC tournament. Clemson beats them by double digits each and every time. They have the same exact record. Clemson finishes higher in the ACC. Clemson lasts longer
Higher.
in the ACC tournament. They are 4-4 in quadrant 1 wins, while NC State has 1 win of similar quality.
Just
And
one.
NC State is going to make the tournament. I got into
Boom.
college basketball 1 week ago, and I am livid that they are not in there.
Yes, get them, dude. I was
Let's
waiting for my
go.
opportunity to drop that grenade. I looked at I didn't even know that they got like that they were even on the bubble, but I looked at it and I was like, oh, no Clemson. Can't wait to drop that one tomorrow.
NC State, you are the object of my
We
ire,
are
and
mad.
It should be the selection committee, but I am pointing all of my anger to the fact that NC State is in the tournament over Clemson right now.
Yeah, because they're a bunch of punks. Suck it, NC State.
Mama Jelzebub in the chat saying that Maryland is an 8 seed.
8
So
seed.
classic 8 seed. They will get the honor of playing against West Virginia to see who gets trampled by Alabama in the second round. So that should be exciting for them.
Man, do I love picking the 8 or 9 upset over the 1, though. I like every year it takes all my willpower not to knock out every 1 seed in the second round.
Oh,
My-
I
Just
want
because
to
it's
for the
so
glory.
much fun. It's
My
so
Fri-
much fun.
My Friars got the number 1 upset pick, which is the 11 seed, right? When you're trying to figure out, okay,
What's
where's
that
the
12? It's all about the 12-5.
the 12-5s, the 12-5s and the 11-6s. It's so easy to just be like, that's close enough. I think when you see like
The 12-5s are always the ones ever since
Yes.
I was a little kid. And it seemed like every year I was able to predict one. I had one good upset on the 5-12.
there's always one. Oh, look, Jay. It looks like Duke is a 5 seed.
I will say I have a yearly tradition. Not once have I ever picked Duke to win a single game in the NCAA tournament bracket.
I have.
picked them to lose in the first round every single year, which means I've had the glory of watching them lose to Liberty, and I have it in my bracket, of watching them lose to Mercer in the first round, and I have it in my bracket. But I've also watched them run the table, and I'm just sitting there, my whole bracket, really.
The one time Duke was always my nemesis, because growing up a Maryland basketball fan, Duke was the biggest rival that you could see. Biggest rival easily. And every single year I would root against them, Simon, just like you said. And they did decently. And then the one year I was like, you know what? I'm going to try and be objective because I want to win this money. Put Duke in, they lose first round. I'm like, screw
never again.
You, Duke. You jerks.
So it looks like round 1, you boys going to be rooting for Oral Roberts.
Yes, we are.
There you go, dude. Big Oral fans.
I prefer Handy Roberts, but Oral Roberts is all right too.
Handy Bob.
Handy Bob. It's his brother. It's his dad, actually. Handy Bob.
Who named that school?
Oral Roberts. Probably someone's
Is it
last
a dentist
name.
school?
It's named after Granville Oral Roberts, who obviously, if your name is Granville, you go by whatever your middle name is, which happened to be Oral, which is just not ideal across the board.
Maybe you just go by Robert. Like, your last name is Roberts, just take the S off and go by Robert. Robert University.
That's Robert.
Duke versus Robert.
American
Duke versus Robert. I like it.
charismatic Christian televangelist.
Ah, man. And that's what I'm cheering for over Duke? Mr. Robert himself?
You have to.
Well, guys, coming up, we got some more goodies for you. Coop is going to lose to me at some poll perception, and then we're going to answer some questions from Reddit as well. The hardest questions they have to offer with the best answers that we've got to offer. You're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Monday Night Rants with Edward Rouse on Better Sports Network.
Do you believe in the Madden curse? Do you think that's a real thing?
I did. Now, I don't think it's as big of a deal anymore, but it was a real thing for a solid 10, 15 years.
Yeah, it was Sean Alexander, LaDainian Tomlinson, Peyton Hillis.
LT was never on the cover. I know that.
Was he not? I thought he was one. Okay, well, you do know all the covers of everything.
Yeah, okay. So if you want, I could do this real quick. So Garrison Hurst is the first official Madden cover athlete, 1999. 2000, I believe they still put John Madden on the cover. And then 2001 is where it all started. So 2001, you have Eddie George. 2002, Dante Culpepper. 2003, Marshall Falk. 04, Michael Vick. 05, Ray Lewis, first defensive player on the cover.
Okay.
06, Donovan McNabb. 07, Sean Alexander.
Okay.
08, Vince Young. 09, Brett Favre.
Okay.
10 is a trick one because it's
no way you know.
And Larry Fitzgerald. 11, Drew Brees. 12, Peyton Hillis. 13, Calvin Johnson, I believe so.
You're right.
14.
No way you know.
14, also a trick question. I believe that's the Madden 25 cover, and it's Barry Sanders, unless you got it for the new consoles, in which case Adrian Peterson
Oh my God.
was on the cover.
You're not cheating. You're not looking at.
Swear on my life. Swear on my life.
Okay, keep on going.
15, you have Richard Sherman.
Okay.
16, hold on. 16 is Odell Beckham.
Okay.
16. 17, now this is the one I get mixed up because 17 and 18 are back-to-back Patriots.
They are.
17, I think, is Gronk, and 18 is Brady.
You are correct.
19 is Antonio Brown.
Correct.
20, Patrick Mahomes.
Oh my goodness.
21, Lamar Jackson. 22, Brady Mahomes. 23, John Madden. Yeah, dude, I'm a cover nerd when it comes to this stuff.
We now know, but that was really impressive. I don't know how.
Thank you.
That's literally 29 of them or something like that. Wow, that is. You did not miss a single one, and you even got the special editions where they had 2 people on the covers.
Monday Night Rants on Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We are about to get into a game of poll perception, the game that tests the contestants' knowledge and understanding of the fantasy football or NFL landscape. We're going to take some polls that we found online, some juicy, succulent, delicious polls, and propose those to our contestants where they have to guess the results. They're going to be guessing the percentage of people that chose the first option in that poll. Once one of our contestants sets the line, the other contestant has to pick over or under that result. So I may guess 65% on side A. Coop thinks it's under. He'd guess under. You'll get points if you're right, Coop. I'll get points the closer I am. We'll go back and forth like this until we run out of polls and have a winner.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. Let's do it.
All right. I am running this game. You guys are playing. So, Coop, you are going first on this one. Simon, followed by Simon. And we'll go like that until we run out of polls.
Good.
So, Coop, your first poll, who do the Panthers take at number 1? It's a question.
Ooh.
Your options are CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, and Will Levis. What percentage of the public chose CJ Stroud in this poll?
Yeah. So for those joining us for the first time for this game, here's the rub is that the answer is not always the most logical. It's not what I would do. It's not what you would do. It's probably not even what the Panthers would do because this is just gauging what Twitter thinks, right? So this is a Twitter poll. It's out there in the world. With this particular one, we do know that anyone paying close attention saw that the favorite to get drafted first was Bryce Young. He was like right around, I think he had I think it was like minus 120. And the second favorite was CJ Stroud. Once the Panthers traded for that pick, the Vegas odds completely flipped. And now all of a sudden, CJ Stroud became the huge favorite to go first overall. And Bryce Young became second, right? So somebody has some sort of insider knowledge that the Panthers really like CJ Stroud. So I truly believe that he's going to be the first one. The problem is a lot of people spent so much time this offseason thinking Bryce Young is going to go first that there's probably a lot of people that still believe Bryce Young will go first. And then there's the other handful of people that watched the combine and saw Anthony Richardson and got all caught up in that hype. So I think those guys are still going to get some votes, whereas this poll should be like 75% CJ Stroud because that's what the odds say. I think it'll probably be closer to 50 or so. I'll go as far as to say that maybe people are sharp enough to realize that it's very likely CJ Stroud. So I'll say 63% of people pick CJ Stroud. But I think there's going to be a lot of people just voting for whoever they personally like best or whenever they last checked in on the news because it's changed like 3 different times. But CJ Stroud, 63% for me.
63%. Locking that in?
Lock it.
All right.
Lock and drop it.
Simon.
I agree with a lot of what you said in there, Coop. I still see talk about Bryce Young as the number 1 overall pick. I read articles this morning that were written yesterday where they're still talking about, I expect them to take Bryce Young. I expect them to take Bryce Young. So I don't think the public sentiment has shifted that much yet. I think it's still going to be, I think Bryce Young wins this poll. So I'm going to say under Coop's guess of 63%.
Simon taking the under on Coop's guess of 63%. And friendly reminder, play along in the chat. We love it when you play along. Throw your answers, your percentage guesses in there. We will praise you if you get it closer than these guys up here. And we'll probably make fun of you if you're really, really far off, but we kind of expect the same from you. It's just what friends do. Simon took the under on Coop's guess of 63% of people who chose CJ Stroud in this poll of who the Panthers will take at number 1. The options are CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, and Will Levis. Dustin in the chat said 57%. Hal said 34%. Tommy said 18%.
What up, Hal?
Good guesses in the chat. What up, Hal? He said better late than never. Good morning, everyone. Better late than never. Good morning.
That'll be it.
To you, Hal.
Please see me after class.
Please see me. That's your 5th demerit, sir. And Nick said 52%, a late round guess here, last minute guess. The actual percentage of people who chose CJ Stroud in this poll was
Give me some points.
60%.
Okay.
Ooh,
I guess that's good for everyone. That is much higher than I thought. I guess people are wising up to the odds changing over there. I'm with you, Coop. I think it's going to be CJ Stroud, but I'm surprised that Bryce Young didn't get more of the vote.
Especially because if you asked this poll before the trade, if you were just like what quarterback goes first before this trade went down, Bryce Young probably would have been, he actually definitely would have been the winner, Simon, right?
Yeah. And I also think with there being multiple top QB options and teams trying to trade up. I guess now there's less of a need for a smoke screen, but teams still like to hide their intentions with their picks sometimes. So I believe that it's going to be CJ Stroud, but I'm not going to be shocked if Bryce Young comes out and is the number 1 overall pick.
No,
I will not be shocked at all.
I got to give props to my father. I was down in Naples, and this was the first day of the combine, and we're sitting there having a couple of beers, watching the. It was before the quarterbacks even went. It was like the linemen and stuff. And he turns to me. He's like, "Pat should trade up for the first pick," and I was like, "Dude, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard." I'm like, they're not doing that. And he goes, "Here's the thing." He goes, "The hype surrounding these players after the combine and leading up to the draft gets so high that they could trade for the first pick now and then trade it later and get a ton back, a bigger return." And I was like, I don't know, man. That
It's the
seems
same
like
thing that works in rookie drafts and
Right.
fantasy.
Fantasy football.
I was like,
Yeah.
that seems like a lot. Reports are now coming out from multiple different places that there's a possibility that the Panthers could be willing to trade back down if somebody out there has a quarterback they really like, because they could like multiple quarterbacks. Like, let's say, for instance, the Colts really like a certain guy. They could the Colts could still trade up from 4 to 1, and then the Panthers pick at 4, and they take one of the top 4 guys. And now that's floating around. So I got to give props to my dad on that one. He was ahead of that possibility. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever, dude, take a sip of my beer, but he was right. He was right that it is possible that teams actually think about that.
Wild.
Yeah. Crazy. Wild and crazy kids.
Crazy. Well, Coop, you were going to get 5 points because you were within 5 percentage points here. Simon, you correctly guessed the over under, meaning you will get 2 points.
Yeah.
So it's 5-2.
Good job.
Good
I
job,
almost
everybody. Good job.
My instant reaction when you said Coop got 5 points was to flip him off, but I decided not to.
Save it.
Save it.
Save
Save it for when I need it.
We do swear on the show sometimes, but I don't think anyone has visually sworn yet.
Visually sworn, yeah.
There aren't very many ways to do that.
There's really just the one, I guess.
There's a hand. There's a few. That one is very close, Simon. That's not a swear. It's definitely PG-13.
I was trying to get close without crossing the line, seeing how close we could get there.
That's
You
it.
got-
That's it.
you
You
got-
found it.
You found
Maybe
it.
like
You got,
making out with your hand is a little close up there too.
you got right up
Didn't
against
look like that.
I think now that you've gotten as close to the line as you are, anything you do right now is going to be close to the line.
Because now no matter what I do, it's like taken like that.
Even that is weird.
No, thank you.
Oh, don't twist it. Don't
Oh,
twist it.
What are you doing with your thumbs?
Oh, no.
Dustin in the chat was only 3 percentage points away. Good guess. And Nick
Yeah, well,
wasn't
so was
far off
I.
either. 52%. 52%.
Pretty good.
Job,
Pretty
Nick.
good, but not as good as Dustin and Coop. Nick, step your game up.
Pow. Simon, this next poll is yours. The context, PPR Dynasty.
Okay.
And the poll is, who do you want more, Devontae Smith or Amon-Ra St. Brown? What percentage of the public chose Devontae Smith in this poll?
Man,
This is going to bother me. Whatever
people
the
love
answer is.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, but the opinion on Devonta Smith has been rising. Now, I think probably more so than most wide receivers in that age range this season. I feel like some people were down on him after his rookie year for some reason, but he came out here, looked great again with A.J. Brown on the field. This is going to be freaking close. I'll say 47% chose Devonta Smith in this poll. I still think Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to pull it out. But I think Devonta Smith did enough this year, and the perception on him is changing. This is going to be borderline 50-50.
All right. 47% locking that in.
Let's lock it in.
All right, Coop.
And we're voting on the Smith side. The Smith side is top.
Always, yep, always side A. So Coop, do you think the actual percentage was over or under Simon's guess of 47%?
So the interesting thing about this one is that we do know people love Amon-Ra St. Brown. I was actually just recently looking at a friend of the show, Alex Korf, on Reddit, Peaked in High School's trade charts, and Amon-Ra St. Brown is ahead of Devonta Smith on those charts, which it tries to capture public sentiment. He is way at the top, which is pretty wild to me, considering one guy is a Heisman Trophy winning wide receiver that just went to the
Little
Super Bowl,
guy.
and the other guy is a 4th round pick that got a lot of targets on a rebuilding
guy.
rebuilding ghost ship. So I personally would much rather have Devonta Smith than Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I know that the public is infatuated with Amon-Ra St. Brown. So
And we know your track record with Amon-Ra St. Brown.
that I will eventually be right when they do complete this rebuild. Jameson Williams is up to speed and they bring in a split end, and Amon-Ra St. Brown ends up being the a part-time slot wide receiver like Tyler Boyd that comes off the field for 2 wide receiver sets, which is coming in the near future. So my personal opinion aside, I have to go with what Twitter believes, which Twitter likes the guy with the fun name. So I will actually say that the number will be under. There will be more people that love Amon-Ra St. Brown, so it will be under the 47%, and even more skewed towards the 4th round slot receiver who's not particularly slow or fast. Or fast, sorry, he's not particularly fast or tall.
He's exactly neutral.
He
can't move at any speed.
He is kind of the most neutral player. I mean, he is able to crack 100 yards when he gets like 15,
that's neutral.
15 targets or so.
All right, Coop taking the under on Simon's guess of 47% of people who chose Devontae Smith over Amon-Ra St. Brown as the player they'd rather have in a PPR dynasty league. And Nick in the chat said it is a quote, "What have you done for me lately?" league.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is.
And Tim said 50%. Nick said 33%. Dustin said 48%. The actual percentage of people who chose Devontae Smith in this poll was
exactly 47.
33%.
Damn,
Nick in the chat
I
nailed
said
it.
step your game up, and you stepped your freaking game up, man.
Simon, you were within 15 percentage points, so you were going to get 1 point. You were just
a whole
within.
point for me, sir. May I please have another?
No, you may not.
Oh, but
you
I'm
may
so
have that
hungry.
point. So now it's 3, and then Coop, you correctly guessed the over/under, so you will get 2 additional points. 7-3. We got a game.
We got one.
And Hal said Amon-Ra and Smith would be a good pair.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah, they would be a good pair. They complement each other pretty well, right?
That's true. And Nick said, "Let's freaking go."
I think if they can keep DJ Chark, that's a good setup. DJ Chark at split end, Jameson Williams at flanker, Amon-Ra in the slot. Maybe they draft a young tight end. There's a great class of tight ends.
I thought for sure you were going to say DJ Chark as the flanker, Amon-Ra on the bench. I was 100% positive those were the next words out of your mouth.
Well, I mean, the question is, like, let's say they keep DJ Chark, right? And then Jameson Williams is good, right? Let's say he's as good as we would expect, which is a first round pick. Now you get down to the red zone and you're at the 5-yard line. You got the 6'4" DJ Chark, Jameson Williams, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. You say you're going to go jumbo set, so either 2 tight ends or a fullback. Who do you take out of the game in that situation?
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Or Jameson Williams or Chark. I mean, we've seen teams take Chark out too. It's kind of hard to take out your biggest guy. That's why I'm like, for me, I think at the end of the day, I would get a little worried. Tyler Boyd was amazing when it was him and AJ Green, and Tyler Boyd was out there for every single snap. But once they had Chase and Higgins, now it's like he's just okay. So that's why
I'm with you. No, I'm with you. I've never, I don't have a lot of Amon-Ra St. Brown in Dynasty just because I haven't trusted that his role would be consistent. That being said, he keeps showing up and doing great stuff. So I'm not opposed to in redraft. He's probably a great buy next year. Dustin in here coming in with some breaking news saying Cleveland restructured Watson's contract, creating $36 million in cap space. So Coop, maybe that Juju talk you were talking about earlier is heading on over to Cleveland. We'll see. They're clearly clearing up some. I don't know why. I was gonna do a different hand motion, Coop, and then I saw you and I started just mimicking what you were doing. With my Juju, clearly opening up the space. Juju Smith-Schuster, come on down to Cleveland, Ohio. The depression is free and starts in November. Wow.
Now so they freed up a lot of Juju beans to spend on Juju Smith-Schuster.
And Nick in here saying IDKY, but Juju to the Browns feels right. And Nick's the dude who just got 33% exactly on the dot. So maybe we take his word with a little extra juice right now.
Now, Tommy, you probably know this, or maybe Keith does. If and when I win the Better Sports free agent contest, can I collect the $250 gift card, or can I not?
Probably not.
Probably not. Okay.
Because you're
just more bragging rights than anything.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Coop,
I'll send you $250 in Cole's cash.
Cole's me up, dude. I was actually just talking to Alex Korf about that. Like, Cole's cash to my wife is more valuable than real money, because it's real money. It's basically money that gives you an excuse to go to Cole's.
Your normal money doesn't give you an excuse to go to Cole's.
It doesn't.
You still have to decide.
There's no time limit that forces you to go to Cole's, which is her favorite part of Cole's cash.
And she'll be very happy because you are in the lead to win some Cole's cash right
Yeah.
now in this game of poll perception.
Yeah.
Score is 7-3. This next one is yours, Coop.
Okay.
The poll says, who do you prefer in Dynasty? Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence?
Ooh.
What percentage of the public chose Justin Fields in this poll?
Can I ask who asked the poll? And
You
if
may
it's
not.
Is it a neutral account? It's not a
Nope.
neutral? Oh, we don't know.
I'm choosing not to give you any information here.
Oh, okay, cool. So
It could remain neutral.
It could be like a Bears account, or we don't even know.
Generally, in poll perception, if the source would provide you with additional information or change the outcome, the host would give you that information.
Okay, cool.
So by jail not giving it, I would just assume general
neutral.
account without overlying biases.
Okay, so it's not like Dave Kluge. All right. Let's see. And this is Dynasty. Did it say anything about the format? Can I get the question one more time?
It said, who do you prefer in Dynasty?
Okay, great. I think that honestly, a lot of people more people are going to pick Justin Fields just for the rushing upside. Even though I think Trevor Lawrence is the better quarterback in general, I think he has a better chance of winning the Super Bowl. And he is pretty mobile himself, just mobile enough to put him in that like Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes range where he can run for 200, 300 yards and score some touchdowns, So I think that Lawrence is obviously a great player and a lot safer, but the upside of Fields is too tantalizing. So I think more people are going to be on the Field side. I think it's still going to be close though. So I'll go 57% on Fields for this one.
57%, lock that in.
Yeah, I'm going to lock that down.
All right, 57% on the Justin Fields side of this poll. I'm sorry. Simon, was the actual percentage over or under? Who's guessed at 57%?
I'm so torn here because I buy what Coop said, but I feel like the narrative is that like Trevor Lawrence is the safer option here.
Before you answer,
Yes.
do you want to introduce the second mechanic?
Yeah, I think it's time.
Simon?
Yeah, sure. Guys, we now have two more answer options as well. You can choose way over or way under as well. If you think that your opponent's answer is 15 percentage points or more off, you're going to get double the points. But if it is not 15 percentage points or more off, you will get 0 points. You will get 0 points if that's the case. With that being said,
that is in play now, Simon. You can take the over, or way under, or queen bee it. Just an equal push.
I'm going under. I think Trevor Lawrence may still win this. I think some people view rushing quarterbacks as not good dynasty assets. We see other names get pulled up towards the top, and there's a level of uncertainty with Justin Fields right now. That being said, I think I prefer Justin Fields for the next 3 years. It seems like he's probably the better fantasy option. But I think this will still lean Trevor Lawrence. So I'm going to take the under.
Taking the under on Coop's guess of 57%. We got a couple of guesses in the chat. We got Dustin with 49%. Nick with 28%. And if we know anything, Nick is going to get this exactly correct. The actual answer. Who do you prefer in Dynasty, Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence? The percentage of people who chose Justin Fields in this poll was 33%. 33%. So Coop, unfortunately, you were outside the range here of 15 percentage points. So you get no points this one. Simon, you correctly guessed the over-under, so you will get 2 points on this one.
Oh, I mean, the thing is, Justin Fields is incredibly risky, right? Like, as fun as the awesome plays were, if you just take his highlights, then he looks amazing. Like 70-yard runs, chucking up bombs that Darnell Mooney catches with one hand. But if you peel it back and look at it, like they were dead last in passing. He did struggle delivering the football at times. So it is a lot riskier than Lawrence, I mean, he looks dialed in. He looks ready to win the Super Bowl. Trevor Lawrence does.
Yeah, I do think there's more risk. I think for fantasy, there's a little bit more upside too. And those flashes and then the recent signing is probably, we're not signing, trade, getting DJ Moore over there. They've got Claypool, Moore, and Darnell Mooney. I almost forgot my favorite guy.
Almost did.
Sorry, now he's my second favorite wide receiver on that team. Wild. And I love Darnell Mooney.
It's true. That's
Big
sad.
dog.
Well, Simon, you brought the score closer. It's now 5-7. 5-7, and we are going into your last.
Can you tell me now who did the poll?
It was Dave Kluge.
It was Kluge? What the hell? So he's like a mega Fields fan. So like he's a mega Bears Fields fan. So that's kind of interesting that the Fields got crushed. But people also like to hate Kluge. So
is Kluge a Bears account or is he a general fantasy account?
General fantasy that skews Bears.
But and I also don't think that's the purpose of the game. Is to try and read analysts. It's to understand.
The thing is, if I knew it was Kluge, I would have gone even heavier on.
I know,
Fields.
And you would have been wrong.
But even more wrong.
Even more wrong.
Yeah,
right.
so.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't help anybody.
That's funny that it actually was his poll. Yeah.
It's the audience that matters more than the person, right? So like Dave's a Bears fan. His audience is general fantasy fans. I don't think it's. But if it was like a I Heart the Bears account, then it's
if it was like
then it's different. Then you get the information.
Or like a beat reporter or something like that, where like their fan base is largely
He's all Bears, FA Nation. In fact, Kluge's got enough haters that his Bears takes do get pretty screwed.
It might be the opposite,
Yeah, it might be the opposite.
Like
All right, well, good call on not telling me that. I would have lost even worse.
I got you.
Appreciate you.
All right, Simon, we're going into your final poll here, the penultimate poll before our final one. Who is the better NFL quarterback? Who's the better NFL quarterback? Aaron Rodgers on shrooms, Zach Wilson, or Mike White with broken ribs? What percentage of the public chose Aaron Rodgers on shrooms?
Okay, so, I'm positive that Zach Wilson's going to be last in this poll.
For sure.
That Mike White with broken ribs and Aaron Rodgers on shrooms. God, poor Zach Wilson. You know he saw this. Know what I mean? Even if it only has 350 votes, he saw this. Someone sent it to him because he came in last place. Aaron Rodgers, I think, is going to win this poll. I haven't seen him play on shrooms that I know of, but I have seen him play just out of his mind on painkillers. Like where they interviewed him after the game and his eyes were looking in different directions as he's talking to the interviewer. And he came out and won that game. Led a fourth quarter comeback to win that game. Aaron Rodgers on shrooms is probably still a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. So I'll say pretty heavy. There were 3 choices. The Mike White meme one's going to get some votes. I'll say 62%. No, we're going to go. No, Mike White meme. I get the power of the Mike White meme. What's the power of the Mike White meme? I'm going to lower it a little bit. I'm going to say 54% Aaron Rodgers.
54% locking that in?
Yes.
54% locked in. Coop, was the actual percentage over, under, way over, or way under, or exactly correct on Simon's guess of 54%?
So I think the Mike White meme is powerful enough to maybe draw like a fourth of this poll. There's only the 3 answers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think, but maybe Mike White could get like 25% or so, but Zach Wilson is got like, you got to be kind of a dweeb to pick Zach Wilson on a meme poll. So I think he's probably going to stay down like 5% at most, which means that the Aaron Rodgers one, I think it's going to be high. It's going to be high. I feel like he's going to get at least like 60 something. So give me over on the Rodgers. Yeah.
Just over, right?
Just over, not way over, just over.
All right. And we got some guesses in the chat, and we got a cat in our chat. We got Scamper saying good morning. Queen Bee for sure. Yeah. Didn't hear the guess. For the next guess, I meant not that terrible one. Talking about Coop's last guess. Get wrecked by a cat.
Pretty bad guess. All right. Scampy. I was gonna say good meowing to you, but now I'm not going to.
Bad meowing. Nick said 98%. It's gotta be like 98% Rodgers. Scamper said 88%. And Jameson in the chat said, Simon, what time?
Later.
There you go.
Lock that
the
in.
actual percentage people who chose Aaron Rodgers on shrooms was 75%.
Damn it. I would have been in the range if I would have gone up.
It'd be funny if he always plays on shrooms. So that answer is just Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Just
Mike
regular.
White with broken. So the breakdown here: 75% Aaron Rodgers on shrooms, 4% Zach Wilson, and Mike White with
4%.
broken ribs, 21%.
4%. Dude, who are those 4% of people that are like, no way, dude, Zach Wilson you gotta pick Wilson here.
It's his mom and all of his mom's friends that are voting for him. He sends it out in a group chat. He's got a group chat that he's in. It's like his mom's friend group chat, but she felt bad for him, so she included him because none of his buddies were texting him anymore after he didn't do so good with his new teammates. And so now he like goes to book club. He joined their book club and he's in their book club group chat, and that's where all the votes came from.
All his MILF girlfriends, which is like 4% of all of Twitter.
All of Twitter and Reddit.
And Reddit, yeah.
And Reddit.
I don't think there's a whole lot. I don't think there's many MILFs on Reddit. Maybe.
Just gotta find them.
You'd be surprised.
So 75%. So unfortunately, Simon, no, you were more than 20% off. So no points for you on this one. Coop, you correctly guessed the over under, so you're going to get an additional 2 points. And we're going into our final round. Do you guys have something to write on?
I do. I've got everything to write on.
All right, this final poll is going to work a little differently. Each of you are going to give me a percentage guess on side A of this poll. Whoever's the closest is going to get 5 points. If either of you are exactly correct, you're going to get 10 points. 10. If you guys have the same answer, you'll share the reward or lack thereof.
I would like that. That would be nice.
That'd be quite, man, that'd be such a wholesome ending.
Wouldn't it? And I would win.
Friends we made along the way.
Which is nice too.
All right. Here's your poll.
Okay.
Stupid debate with a friend that needs to be resolved. I need help, Twitter. Are ice cubes dry? Yes or no? What percentage of the public chose yes?
Oh man.
It seems so obvious at first, and then I thought for one more second, and now how cold is it? Yeah, but does the wetness of something require you to touch it to feel it, or can it be wet without being felt? Because your body heat would immediately turn an ice cube wet because it would be covered in water. But if you don't touch it and it's in a below freezing environment, this just gave me jail. This just gave me the sketty brain so bad. I almost have spent the rest of the show.
Brain.
I almost spent the rest of the show just doing this.
Wet, dry, wet, dry.
Okay. You know what? I'm refusing to go down this path, and I'm just going to go down the path of what do other people think, because this seems like something people would love to be mad about.
Oh man, this is a
was side A yes?
This isn't an
side A was
enigma.
yes.
I mean, because the thing
yes.
is, no.
You got your answers?
What makes
I'm
ice
changing
slippery?
it.
What makes ice slippery, if not for moisture?
But is ice slippery inherently?
When it's cold enough, I don't think it is. Inherently, yeah. In its purest form, I don't think it is wet.
All right, you guys got your answer?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, go ahead and reveal. 57% from Coop, 89% from Simon. 57. You said 57, right?
I said 57, yeah.
Okay, cool. And a couple guesses in the chat. Scamper said 21%, Dame said 50%, and Tim said 37%. Hal said 49%, or was that? No, yeah, 49% from Hal. Wow, good guesses. And then Nick said, this is a great question, 52%.
Right.
The actual percentage of people who chose yes, ice cubes are dry, was 26%.
Wow. We weren't even close.
You guys are so far off. Coop, you were going to get points for this one just by default.
Yeah, I guess.
You're going to get 5 points and win this game.
Don't feel good about it. Don't feel good about it.
Like, my answer, I think, is no. I think that's where I land. If I had to vote on this poll, I think I would click no, but I thought I was going to be in the minority. I thought lots of people were going to just say, yeah, ice is wet. Because my instant reaction was like, yeah, duh.
Well, no, people did say it is wet. Like 3/4 of the people said it's wet, right?
No, we were voting on the yes side.
But it was, are they dry?
Are they dry?
Are ice cubes dry?
Yeah. So if it was 29%, that means that The most people.
you-
Simon, you would have nailed this poll. You would have nailed. Simon would have nailed this poll if he had correctly answered.
You answered on the west.
I answered, are ice cubes wet? Not are ice cubes dry. Damn it, why are they asking?
Simon.
You always
You would've
ask about
nailed
the
it.
presence of equality, not the lack thereof. Whoever put that poll together.
That's right. Yeah.
ice
Are
cubes
they
wet?
well? Dry is equality though. It's
Dry
but
is a lack of wetness. Wet is not a lack of dryness. Wet is the addition of moisture.
that's true. You're right. They did affirm the negative on that one.
They affirmed
Well,
the
this
negative.
came from Hutch, so give
Well,
him a
Hutch,
break. Give him a break.
Absolutely not. Grow up. I'm just kidding.
Settle down, Hutch. That's a
Hutch
good
is the-
question.
Hutch
It's a
is the
fine.
man.
Yeah, Hutch is the man, dude. It's a fine question. But yeah, I don't know, man. Ice isn't wet until you interact with it, I feel.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, well, like or something external source, heat, temperature, friction.
Exactly. That's what makes it slippery.
Love.
Is
Love.
that love? I don't get enough
Sauce.
of it.
Well, guys, coming up, we're going to debate this ice cube thing a little bit more, and we're going to answer some of Reddit's toughest questions, and we answer Reddit. You're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Front Yard Fantasy with Simon, JL, and Coop.
Sell me on doing away with the 2 conference system in the NFL.
Is it really a sale whenever this is something that's commonly agreed upon? I'm selling you on water being wet. I'm selling you on something that is objectively true right here. We look at teams at the end of the season and we go, how the hell does one team have such an easy schedule while another team is just absolutely getting obliterated? And that's because of the 2-conference system, because the division system feeds into this conference system. It's a symptom of the greater problem. Like these divisional matchups, you're telling me it's fair that the Buccaneers are in the playoffs after playing the Panthers twice, the Falcons twice, and the Saints twice this year? That is unbelievable. There are multiple more deserving teams every single year that because of this system where we silo them into random groups, it determines the order. And yes, originally this was geography based, right? We have these divisions, they were geography. It's 2023, my dudes. Geography doesn't matter whenever it comes to the size of the United States. These teams can travel anywhere. They don't need to geographically locate them in divisions or conferences to make the games make more sense. If USC can be in the Big Ten, why the hell can't Miami play San Francisco every year? It can happen. They've got more money than these colleges and they're not taking classes. All it does is create an ecosystem where less talented teams can get rewarded for playing in weaker divisions and more talented teams are punished for continuing to improve.
Damn, bro.
Drop the mic.
I like to picture some geography teacher out there just threw a pen on the ground. He was like, how dare you? He smacked the globe. He was like, what do you
all
mean?
the hard work we've done.
2023 geography doesn't matter, right? Smacks his
You know
globe.
how long it took for us to get respect?
Globe goes spinning around, right? Geography doesn't matter. How dare
I'm
you?
just imagining they ripped on the world map and underneath is algebra 2. Like they just go straight into being a math teacher.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray. Weekdays at noon Eastern, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Paper straws. Oh, they're so bad. Ray, I mean, I'm almost tempted to say screw Mother Earth. Give me a real straw. The paper straw thing is a step too far in saving the planet for me.
It's a great idea. The problem is it has to last. Like it can't go mushy halfway through my drink.
That's
And
the
I think
problem.
That's the problem. They have a hard time standing up if you don't drink that.
100%. That's my issue, Ray. I'm all for taking care of the only planet we got. But Ray, some people like to drive a lot. I don't. I don't get on them for they have to drive 20 minutes to work every day. Can I just get a plastic straw? Like, I think, Ray, we should be able to pay for a card that says, I don't drive every day, so they said I could have this kind of environmental impact by getting a plastic straw. I am in favor, Ray, of government-issued plastic straws if I have the proof that I'm worthy of such a thing. If you want it, you get it. It's kind of like the Clear Pass. You know,
Yeah,
at the
there you go.
airport.
Okay.
Like, Ray, I'd be willing to pay an extra $2 a year, and I get as many plastic straws as I want when I go out to the restaurant.
And the $2 goes toward cleaning the oceans or something. So,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. That's not a terrible idea. Not terrible.
Call, chat, enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. It is Monday, March 13th, 2023. Daylight savings time started or ended one of the two, and the clocks are all messed up and your next 2 weeks are ruined. But we're about to answer Reddit's questions. In spite of that, JL usually scours Reddit to find the toughest questions they have, the ones that could really use some intervention from us, some help. And I'm pretty sure he's got a couple for us.
Oh, yeah, I do. I got some good ones.
Unless the answer is no.
Reddit never disappoints. All right, our first question from Reddit. If you had the chance to time travel, where will you go?
Okay.
And why are you there?
Let's just get the time travel logistics out of the way at the beginning. Before this isn't hypothetically, so let's just get the ground rules out. Is this just like time and place, or just time I end up in the same place where I am now?
I think
this is kind of like exploratory, so I'm assuming time and
time
place,
and
right?
place, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think the other way really adds anything.
Yeah, then it's not very much fun. Then it's just like
it's like, okay, I'm now in Baltimore.
I'm in Texas now or Texas before.
Yeah.
And then are we ruining the future? Like, are we creating an alternate future, or is it just like to see? Is the whole premise of this to explore? Like, let's go see it.
Do we only
the
get
premise is to explore? Let me answer Simon's question, then we'll follow right back up with that, Coop. But I'm not too much worried about the logistics here of time travel. I don't think we need to solve that. I think it's just like, if you had to pick a time and place, where would it be?
Okay.
Makes sense. I got you.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, there's different versions of time traveling. Like, there's traveling back in my own timeline where I can relive things. The problem is with the typical time travel, I would go back and I would also be there. There'd be two of me, which kind of messes the whole thing up. Like, I can't go be like, oh, I would go back to and just every weekend I would go back to my wedding and just party, But like, if there were two of me there, it would be very weird.
I wrote a college essay about this, about time travel. This was like a prompt. I forget what school it was for, but I wrote a college essay. Like, if you could time travel to one spot, I think it was Notre Dame, because I remember writing it to a religious school thinking like, ooh, like this will be a good one. This will really knock your socks off.
Assisi and meet St. Francis.
No, I said, I'm going to go back to the day that Jesus was resurrected, left the cave, and try to confirm or deny Christianity. Like, I'm going to go back and see, is this real or is this not? And try to get
this
video.
Seems like the start of a movie where you get mistaken for Jesus.
Pretty tight.
And then there's the whole plot of you, 2023 Simon, having to
I keep trying to explain I'm a time traveler, but they're just miracles every time.
Yeah, every time you just more Jesus. You're like, oh, he brought us another gift.
I pull my cell phone out and start playing a song. They're like, he's channeling music from the heavens.
Oh my God, this is such a good movie idea.
But that was my high school answer to this question was, we're going to go see if Christianity's real or not. It could solve a lot of problems in the world. If we just know, like, I come back and I'm like, yep, guys, look, on video, risen. Like, we're good. Like, know what I mean? Then everyone's like, oh, shoot, guess you were right. Or the other way around, I can be like, guys, I hate to break it to you, but like, we got to find a new one. We can just
but at what point can you confirm? How can you confirm if it doesn't?
I'll set up a tripod. Does that answer your question?
Dang, I didn't think of that.
Scampers has a name for your movie, Jail. Christ, accidentally. It's pretty good. But you know what? I think my answer now is going to change. I'm not sure where I lie. Coop, do you have anything like a time period that jumps out to you?
So Tommy immediately just says the word Biff, which is honestly, like, probably the best answer.
Back to the Future?
Yes. Biff from Back to the Future was doing what most of us would do, which is go back in time and get some sort of or go forward in time and get some sort of lottery ticket or sports almanac and come back and just win 1 million sports bets. That's pretty selfish, though. I think that's a little too selfish. So personally, for me, I would go back and do the world a great justice. I would go back to the moment that Jack Dorsey is about to invent Twitter, and he's about to press the button to launch it, and I would just grab his hand and I would say, don't do that. That's going to make everybody very upset, and it's going to cause great division in this nation and throughout the world, and a number of arguments, and I think that you should not do that. So I would go back and I would uninvent Twitter, and then we could all just live our lives in perfect harmony.
I actually know someone who knows Jack Dorsey.
Yeah.
So if you want, I can pull that string, make a connection, reach out to him and say, Can you undo it?
Yes. I mean, if anyone
Are
can
you willing to go back in time with Coop and undo this?
if anyone can time travel, like Jack Dorsey and the people at that level of society, that's the group of people that probably know how to get it done. So yes, I think at this point where, now that Elon Musk is running Twitter and everything, Jack is he's probably sitting there. He's like, yeah, that's probably a good idea, dude.
The sports almanac thing, I don't think people think that all the way through. You don't need a whole almanac. You just need like one good bet. Because you're going to get limited. The minute that you start winning that much, you're not going to be able to place a bet anywhere. No one's going to take your bets. So you got to get a big one so that they don't see it coming. Get enough so where before they can limit you, you make out.
Well, yeah, but you could set up what if you get the whole almanac and then you can place a series of small bets that'll be undetected. You could even have a group of shadow like friends to place some bets for you so you don't get caught.
If you want to do all that work, then definitely go that route.
I mean, rather than that, why wouldn't you just go back in time and buy shares of Apple and then just come back here and look at your bank account?
Yeah, that's probably a good move. Why wouldn't you? I think that's a better plan.
Seems better.
Yeah.
Seems better.
That's an even better plan than the sports almanac. I'm thinking less like, how do I affect my modern day life, and more like, what would be sick to see? Like, what do I want to go back and just experience? And I think, like, what do I enjoy reading? What do I enjoy learning about? What do I enjoy watching? And there's two periods that come to mind. One is like the era of Genghis Khan and the Mongolian Empire. I would die. I wouldn't make it. I can't ride a horse. Horses scare me. They eat mostly mare's milk based food, which is 4 times the lactose content of cow's milk. So that would just absolutely destroy me. So I think I'm going to go with the other period I'm very interested in. I'm heading back to ancient Greece. I'm going to head to Athens.
Ancient Greece.
I just want to see it and experience. I want to go to the Temple of Athena while people are there, like worshiping. You know what I mean? Like leaving gifts for the goddesses. I want to see the Senate Hall. I want to watch people walk around in skirts and dresses, and men are allowed to wear it, and it's no big deal. Balls just hanging free underneath. Ancient Greece seems like where it's at.
Pretty sure you could just go to like certain parts of Portland and see that too. Or it's 2023. Not everyone.
Not Greek balls.
I just worry going back to then that, like, how long do I have to stay? You know what I mean? Because it's like
you got the time machine,
so you can just bounce. So you can just pop in, like, because I don't want to have to live that way. Like, I'm not trying to like drink out of an old dirty well.
I'm viewing this as like you get to go. You got a time machine. You get to go check it out.
Yeah, you check it out, but you get thirsty. You go. You don't have to drink like slime water, and I don't know. I just imagine people back then probably didn't smell that good. So maybe they did smell all right. You never know.
I would go back to 2006.
Okay.
And then just stay there and keep living again.
Yeah.
Just do it again. One more time. Second
One
ride.
more time.
Let's go.
Sixth grade was a good year for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I am not going back to 2006 when I was all of 4'3" and prepubescent and annoying as hell. Like, middle school sounds like hell to relive again.
Yeah.
I wasn't even bullied. Know what I mean? I'm sure middle school was worse for other people.
I was the coolest kid in school in middle school.
That's when you peaked, dude. That's when it was you and Stephon Diggs.
Peaked in middle school. No, Stephon Diggs was high school.
Peaked in middle school.
Tom,
just totally steal Alex Korf's thing, dude.
Alex needs like a mentee.
Peaked in middle school.
Peaked in middle school.
Tommy in the chat wants to go full Jonas Brothers and visit the year 3000. Oh, I can tell you, Tommy, the Jonas Brothers already went. It's very similar, but everyone lives underwater. And an update on your family, your great-great-great-granddaughter, she's doing fine. Doing fine.
The problem that I run into with the future one in going there is that, like, think about how much smarter we are now than people back in the day. And I'm sure there are obviously some guys that are pretty smart. Yeah, you go in the future and you're just gonna show up and they're like, who's this? What is this dude wearing? He looks like he smells terrible, and he doesn't even, they could have whole new language, you know what I mean? And you could be like an idiot, They're like,
the uncertainty of the
where's
future
your chip?
is scary for me because as we've seen in all of the post-apocalyptic TV shows, the world can go to hell in like 2 days. So you travel any distance in the future, you don't even know that it exists. You don't even know that civilization is there. So like, I'm not taking the uncertainty of going 100 years in the future, 200 years in the future. Who the hell knows what I'm teleporting into?
You could
But
travel.
if you do that, you can just be like, okay, and back. Yep. Nope. That's it. We know that's definitely not going to
Unless
last.
they've got like anti-time travel tech that's going to hold you there
And
whenever
they-
you land. Like they've got
Right,
like
and-
blockers, like jammers, like you have for cell
You
phones.
go
They've
in
got
there,
a-
it's like,
And the aliens, dude, and at that point, like aliens are here and humans are like tasty treats. So when they see you coming, they're like, oh, here comes another one. Right.
Tim says
Crunch.
the future has an all new language, and Simon is full sending to ancient Greece as if that's not a problem.
Yeah. Do you speak Greek?
yeah.
You know what? I'll change my answer to ancient Rome. Do I speak Latin? More than Greek.
Right. How about ancient England?
Just
What
imagine
is-
everyone speaks English.
in
Yeah, that's the
ancient
tough
England?
part. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be like different English. That's going to be even more frustrating than going to Rome or Greece because I'm gonna think I can understand what they're saying because it's going to be the same sounds,
Right.
but it's just
Different.
not going to be the same.
Yeah. You just show up, you're like, that's madcap, yo. And they're like, who art thou?
Yeah, that is how I talk usually. So that's how I would say it when I show
If you're
up.
bringing that future speak back, you got to drop them with some YouTube influencers.
I land in there and I'm like, "What up?
What up, fam? What's
Welcome
happening?
another-
in."
I got another quick question here from Reddit. I want to slip in. What's something you've been looking for a long time but haven't found?
Okay, I got an answer to this one. There was a game that me and my sister and a bunch of my buddies in college used to play called Puzzle Pirates, where you were on a boat together and you solved these puzzles and you worked as a team, right? And if you got enough, and you attacked other boats with other pirates, probably their sister and their friends from college, and whoever won, you get bigger ships and stuff, and everyone was on the same team and you had a common goal, and it was that kind of game. Now, I mean, the game doesn't exist anymore. It sucks if it does, but I can't find a game like that anymore where you can just play with your friends and you're all on the same team and anyone can log in whenever they want. All the games now, it's you have to play by yourself or you're not on a team or this. So I've been looking for a long time for a game like that. I can't find one. If you can find one out there, hit me on Twitter at Coop Fiasco and I will play with you on the same team. Puzzle Pirates 2. Yeah. So I want Puzzle Pirates, but one that people still play.
One that people still play.
I lost my dad's Mojo Nixon CD. I lost it in middle school, and I truly whenever I was in the storage unit back home visiting my parents, I was like, it's got to be in here. I've looked through all my stuff back home. It's got to be in the storage unit. I'm digging through boxes. I don't see it. And I know it was me because I was the only one who used that CD. My dad had it, but I would take it out as a middle schooler and put it in because it had all these funny songs about Lincoln Logs and Elvis. And it was just the bomb. And I lost it. And it makes me feel
Dang.
guilt to this day.
I bet.
Why don't you buy him another one? Pretend like you found it.
What a good solution. I want to find the original though.
Scratch it up with a key or something.
Are you looking for anything, JL?
Yeah, I lost my Ray-Bans right before I went to Hawaii. So I bought a new pair, got back, found them in the car on the way home from the airport. Never seen them again.
Never seen them again.
glasses.
So
You
Ray-Bans, Puzzle Pirates, and Mojo Nixon CD. If anybody sees those things, be on the lookout for them. We are looking. We will be back tomorrow, hopefully with an update on our lost objects for more Front Yard Fantasy morning show fun. Until then, though, stick around here on BSN. We got Moose and Keith coming up next that you're going to want to hang out with. Go ask them if ice is dry or wet. Get their take on it. Until tomorrow, though, we're out of here, everyone. Adios.
I haven't seen your Ray-Bans anywhere.